Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1351 Explosions continue. There was a loud rumble. The entire laboratory building was blown up and the explosion could be heard several kilometers away. Fortunately, the laboratory building was quite remote, so generally no one could hear the explosion here. But this was a devastating blow to those who were searching on the 4th floor. Because they were all on the 4th floor, no one was on the 3rd floor or above. Not to mention that they would find the basement, because before, even people like Xiao Chen didn't know that there was a basement in Lin Feng's laboratory building. Otherwise, Zhang Yuxi knew this information from the beginning, so he kept some information, which just saved Xiao Chen's life. He found that the other people who stayed in the laboratory with him were exactly the same, showing a look of surprise. They didn't expect that there would be a very empty basement in this laboratory building. It is estimated that only those who have stayed in this laboratory for a very long time and are very satisfied and valued will know this secret, but it doesn't matter. At this time, someone asked Xiao Chen, "Did you hear everything just now? Someone outside is trying to come in and rob. What's going on? Researching products? This is too shameless, and you dare to come here with such a big risk. You are really looking for death?" Even if they were underground, they could hear the sound of explosions coming from outside. Although there was not much threat to them recently, they could still feel the explosions from above. So everyone felt that Zhang Yuxi was really a person who liked to play with fire. Otherwise, how could he refresh Lin Feng's bottom line again and again? Any normal person should understand what he would face after doing this. But he still sent people to rob the medicine without any hesitation. Xiao Chen waved his hand helplessly, and then said, "How do I know? People like him will do anything to get what they want, and they will suffer the consequences in the end. We just need to watch the show from the side." Everyone nodded, and then stood aside silently, saying nothing more. After all, those who understand will understand. This time, they will definitely teach Zhang Yuxi a good lesson. Just then, there were explosions outside, one after another. The 4th floor of this experimental building was basically bombed into ruin. But the 2nd and 3rd floors were relatively intact. Because of such firepower, there was no large-scale damage there, so many people on the 4th floor hurriedly evacuated. Some of them who did not have time to evacuate were directly wrapped in a layer of experimental drugs. Then jumped out of the window. After all, this is only the 4th floor, there are not too many high floors. Maybe they can still survive after going down, but they still can't escape after they go down. Because Lin Feng's people are more than 200 people. After getting off the truck, they rushed up with the things in their hands and caught all the fish that escaped. They were caught one by one, and they were dumbfounded. They didn't expect Lin Feng to be able to stop people perfectly. All those who wanted to escape were shocked when they saw Lin Feng holding a big stick in his hand. After all, they recognized who Lin Feng was. Everyone stared at Lin Feng in fear and said, Why are you here?" They knew that their actions were fast enough. Logically speaking, it was impossible for someone to tell Lin Feng so quickly. Moreover, Lin Feng came out too fast, right? Lin Feng sneered and hit these self-righteous hooligans on the head with a stick. He didn't say much nonsense. After being hit, of course, those who were not knocked unconscious were in a worse situation. Because Lin Feng continued to hit other parts of their bodies with a stick, it can be said that Lin Feng was now venting all the anger in his heart. It can be said that the next 10 minutes were the worst moment in the lives of all these people. They were beaten up by Lin Feng one by one. Even the hundreds of people following Lin Feng looked a little guilty. After all, in their impression, Lin Feng has always been a relatively gentle person, and he has never lost his temper so much, but today his house was robbed. This kind of anger was enough to make Lin Feng beat these people to death, and half of them had already been burned in this laboratory. Of course, for such a matter of life and death, it is equivalent to finding another explanation. At least it will not let others catch the handle, and these living people will be miserable. After beating for about 10 minutes, Lin Feng stopped, and then tried the pointers of the few people behind him, meaning that these people who were waiting half dead should either be handed over to a third party for processing, or buried directly. Of course, they didn't really bury them. After Lin Feng got on the car, most of the others followed and continued to get on the truck. They had a commercial vehicle and a large truck and had gone directly to the direction of Zhang Yuxi's home. This time Zhang Yuxi had poked a big hole, and he knew it in his heart. But it was not because others tipped him off, but because he was after the sneak attack on Lin Feng's laboratory. An hour later, he called the people there, but no one answered. Zhang Yuxi walked around in the study with his phone. He said with some doubt, "What are these guys doing? Why don't they answer the phone? It's really annoying." After all, no one answered the phone for so long, so there must be an accident. And what kind of accident could happen in Lin Feng's laboratory? At least there are not many people today, and their 50 or 60 people are enough, so this makes Zhang Yuxi very curious. But within this hour, Zhang Yuxi's right eyelid has been jumping back and forth. It's like he's going to encounter a disaster. After a while, his cell phone rang, and he found that the person calling was Lu Qingqing. Then he answered the phone and said to the other party, "Hello, what's the matter?" Hearing his calm voice, he was almost anxious to death, and hurriedly said to him, "Don't you know what you have done? My people have told me that Lin Feng is bringing a truckload of people to your house to settle accounts with you. Do you really want to be beaten to death by him?" After hearing this, Zhang Yuxi was also dumbfounded. No way, no way. This time they discovered it so early, and the reaction was quite strong. Zhang Yuxi opened his eyes. He had actually thought of such a scene a long time ago, so retreating was just a matter of time. But he didn't expect that this time would be several times faster than he imagined. Chapter 1352. A chance to make a comeback. There was no sound from Zhang Yuxi, which made Lu Qingqing very anxious. Then she said to him, "What are you still hesitating about? Run away quickly, otherwise, you will be beaten to death by Lin Feng, and you will not be able to take revenge tomorrow." Zhang Yuxi hesitated after hearing this, and said with gritted teeth, "I want to run away too, but my people haven't brought back the medicine they promised to give me, otherwise, I can't go to the press conference tomorrow." After saying this, Lu Qingqing felt like she didn't want to complain about him anymore, and then she couldn't help but say, "You are still thinking about watching the press conference. You are about to die. According to what your company will end up like, I don't need to remind you again. So now, before Lin Feng rushes to your house, well, if you don't run away, you will be finished." Lu Qingqing would be really unlucky. He felt that he would never cooperate with such a person. Now Lin Feng was ready to come and kill Zhang Yuxi. Who knows what kind of press conference tomorrow will be? She regretted it now because Zhang Yuxi didn't tell him all the plans. Just telling him the final result will definitely be enough to make Zhang Yuxi right. However, this is all just a fantasy in Zhang Yuxi's heart. He has seen through this man now. After Lu Qingqing hung up the phone, she didn't dare to contact him at all. Because she knew that Lin Feng dared to bring a truckload of people to deal with Zhang Yuxi. That shows how ruthless he is this time, and he is definitely more angry than the last time he overly tricked him and Zhang Yuxi. So if he joins in the fun now, he will only die miserably. And the reason why he didn't dare to contact their family is because he was afraid that their family would also be unlucky. After all, this matter has nothing to do with the Lu family. If Lin Feng knew that he was going to contact the family now, who knows that Lin Feng would think too much, and then turn around and deal with their Lu family. Lu Qingqing sighed, really hoping that Zhang Yuxi could escape now. At least they still have the chance to make a comeback. That's right, even at this moment, he still believed that the hatred between him and Lin Feng should not be settled like this, and should be settled again. But Lin Feng didn't have so many ideas. What he wanted in his heart was to completely deal with Zhang Yuxi first, and let him hold the press conference he wanted tomorrow and then make him look bad. As for Lu Qingqing, he hasn't thought about this person yet. After all, from the news he received, he didn't know whether Lu Qingqing had anything to do with this matter. If she did, he would not let her go. Lin Feng gave Lu Qingqing too many opportunities. Time and time again, for the sake of the Lu family, and for the sake of other people. He was not a person who let the other party go every time. What was this? During the time when Lin Feng came to deal with Zhang Yuxi also quickly recalled his bodyguards and his driver. It was right to take part of his belongings and leave the entire demon city. He knew that Lin Feng was serious this time. You know, with a truckload of people, who knows what is inside, and it is definitely not just for people, there might be other weapons, which is scary. So after he left, the whole house became empty, but did he think he could escape Lin Feng's pursuit so easily? When he just got into the driver's car and headed out of the magic city, The old housekeeper who stayed in the house started to call someone. After answering the phone, he said with a pleasant face, "Hello, Mr. Lin, I am Zhang Yuxi's housekeeper." After hearing the other party's voice, Lin Feng first said comfortingly, "It's really been so long, you've worked hard. After all, it's really troublesome to be undercover in such a family, but it will be over after today." The reason why Lin Feng chose such an old housekeeper to be his person is that he can't play a role in many critical moments, but he can give Zhang Yuxi a fatal blow, so this is why he contacted the other party at this time. After hearing this, the old butler laughed and said, "Mr. Lin, please don't be so polite to me. If you hadn't saved me and given me such a good opportunity, if you had given me a job like this, I probably wouldn't know where I am now. So don't worry, I won't betray you all these years." Lin Feng nodded and agreed, saying, "It's okay, Lali. After the development of this press conference is successful, you can come back to me and you don't have to keep pretending in front of that guy. But are you sure he has already headed out of the Magic City? He doesn't look like the kind of person who gives up so easily." Lin Feng himself had somewhat overlooked the shock he had brought to Zhang Yuxi today, so he thought that the other party had at most fled to other places in the Magic City for refuge, and would not have left the Magic City so suddenly. But the old housekeeper shook his head and said, "Mr. Lin, you don't know that Zhang Yuxi looked panicked just now. It's rare to see him so panicked. He even hurriedly transferred out his own company shares. You said he wanted to take refuge immediately, what else could he do? So Mr. Lin, you should quickly take people to intercept him. Otherwise, he will disappear in a short while, and it will be difficult to find him back." Lin Feng nodded, then put his phone aside, and said to a walkie-talkie, 500 people in your trucks must get off, and you must get Zhang Yuxi to the checkpoint of the Magic City. No matter what the cost, otherwise he will escape, understand? The people under his command are not vegetarians. A full 500 people, at 8 o'clock tonight, they will take Zhang Yuxi's checkpoint. 2 days are no problem, so as long as they can be like Zhang Yuxi, that is more than enough. The others nodded and said, "Yes, Mr. Lin." After everyone left, Lin Feng started to learn the phone, and then said to the housekeeper on the phone, "Okay, let's talk about this for now. Be careful, I'll send someone to pick you up first." Regardless of whether Zhang Yuxi really escaped from the Magic City as the housekeeper said, Lin Feng would go to Zhang Yuxi's house to find out the truth. It's impossible not to demolish his house just because he left. Otherwise, he gathered 2,000 people tonight. This is not a joke. Chapter 1353, Total Annihilation. On the other side of the highway, Zhang Yuxi followed the voice in the phone. He sneered, and then said to Siju, "Turn around now and go to the house we have planned." Zhang Yuxi hung up the phone with a very cold look on his face. That's right, he had heard what the old housekeeper said on the phone, and he also heard the Lin Zong that came out of the old housekeeper's mouth, so he still had something to figure out. Wasn't it his old housekeeper who betrayed him? Zhang Yuxi looked at the night outside the window, and the murderous intent in his eyes became stronger and stronger. Originally, he didn't think he would doubt so much, but because of his habit, he kept a hand. Installed a monitoring device at home. After hearing these final words, he was not surprised at all. After all, anyone around him could betray him. He didn't think it was too strange that the old housekeeper betrayed him. He just didn't expect that there would be such a way to guess what Lin Feng would do next. Hearing the meaning of the phone, it was probably that Lin Feng would send people to his home and also to the checkpoint of the Magic City. In addition, he still had many houses in the entire Magic City, so now the boss was hiding in those houses, hiding in each house for a few days, which would definitely allow him to avoid Lin Feng's pursuit. After all, the entire Magic City was so big that he didn't believe that Lin Feng could keep tracking him down. After hearing his order, the driver had already driven the car in another direction. Maybe Zhang Yuxi really wanted to leave the Magic City before. He thought that if he came back half a month after leaving, then maybe he could prepare that his hatred would disappear a little, or he felt that he was not so important, so he would not have such a strong desire for revenge against him. But now it seems that this is completely impossible, and he can only run. "Yes, sir, we are running towards the nearest apartment nearby, but if we let him fight, it will probably take half an hour." After the driver roughly stipulated a distance, he drove towards the nearest apartment. And in this process, Zhang Yuxi did not sit in this car in vain, regardless of anything. He was thinking about how to avoid Lin Feng's attack on him and survive until the press conference tomorrow, because tomorrow's press conference is very important to him. Now he probably knows that the 50 people he sent out have been wiped out. Not to mention stealing the medicine in the experimental building. I'm afraid no one will survive. As the night tonight gradually thickens, Lin Feng has sent people to the outside of Zhang Yuxi's house. Seeing the old housekeeper standing at the door to greet him, he walked up and said to him, "Old Li, you are really too hard. You have been following behind this guy for so many years. Now, as long as we catch him, we don't have to be undercover like before." After hearing this, Old Li nodded and respectfully invited Lin Feng to enter this villa. After all, this villa, Lin Feng still has to take people into search. After entering, Lin Feng waved his hand, and then all the rest of his people rushed in, searching from the living room all the way to the bedroom on the second floor. Everything has been turned over. Of course, the search process was also very simple and crude. It was no different from smashing the place. What should be smashed was smashed and what should be thrown away was thrown away. In the end, such useful things were found. The only useful things are a few confidential documents, and there are ways to decipher these documents. Lin Feng has no way to decipher them for the time being, so he can only take them back. Lao Li was very happy after seeing all this. Lin Feng said to Lao Li, "Let's go. After we go back, you can also reunite with your family." Before, Lao Li had been undercover beside Zhang Yuxi, so if the other party knew that he had a family, it would definitely be affected. But now that Lao Li has completed the task, he can see his family when he returns home. He said to Lin Feng very happily, "Thank you, boss. If it weren't for you, I might not be able to see my family now." After saying this, Lin Feng just shook his hand and said to him, "I should be the one thanking you. You have wasted enough time with him for so many years. I didn't pay much attention to him before he came, but now I find that this guy really gives me a lot of obstacles. After getting rid of him this time, I can also feel a lot more relaxed. There are not many people in the whole Magic City who can go against Lin Feng, but there are not many people who dare to go against him. However, there are people like Zhang Yuxi. The other party is really not afraid of death. As long as he keeps a breath, he can come back. This is strange. Lin Feng was too kind before, so he gave the other party chances again and again. Until now, Lin Feng found that if he had killed him directly back then, he would not have been in this situation now. So he said with a smile, "Old Li, don't worry. After returning to our own territory, there are still things to do for you. This is not for nothing to take you back." After saying this, Old Li did not say much, but just smiled, and then followed Lin Feng out of the house. After getting in the car, Lin Feng said to the others, "You all search the things inside, and don't miss anything. If you encounter anything suspicious, you must hand it over. Do you understand?" Lin Feng couldn't waste the rest of his time in this place. He also had to go to the checkpoints of the entire Magic City to search whether the other party had left, so the task this night was still quite heavy. He had to assign people, and the people he sent were quite reliable. They all said to him with their chests and heads held high, "Yes, Mr. Lin, don't worry, we will definitely search everything here." Lin Feng also believed what these people said, so he gave a few more instructions and followed Old Li away. Lin Feng said to his mind in the car, "Are you sure that guy will leave Jiang Cheng's pass? But I always feel that he won't do such a thing as running away." Lao Li said to him with a smile, "Boss Lin, don't you believe that I don't know him after so many years with him? Have you forgotten that after you beat him into the hospital last time, he did stay quiet for so long, so this time he must know that you are angry. Then he must have stayed away, but I guess he will come back after a while. He is not the kind of person who gives up easily." Lin Feng and Lao Li are very sure of Zhang Yuxi's spirit. If the other party is not standing on the opposite side of Lin Feng, then Lin Feng will never force him, and maybe he can give him a chance. But who made him want to go against Lin Feng all the time? It was only natural for Lin Feng to have such a business competitor. Lin Feng nodded and said to the driver, "Then drive the car to the Riverside checkpoint. I want to go and see if he is there in person." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1354, Heavenly Ability. This time, Lin Feng felt that it might be exactly the same as what he thought in his heart. It was impossible to know whether Zhang Yuxi would leave the checkpoint tonight. But there was one thing, that is, the entire Magic City was searching for him. If he did not leave the Magic City, then Lin Feng would have to send people to search everywhere. Anyway, a carpet search would always find the person. As for Zhang Yuxi, who was so big, Lin Feng only needed to guard the main checkpoint, so Lin Feng did not think that he must find the person tonight. It was just that he did not say it. Because Lao Li next to him was very sure that Zhang Yuxi, who had followed for many years, must have reached the checkpoint now, but a cunning person like Zhang Yuxi would never be found so easily. The car drove for about 30 minutes and arrived at the checkpoint of the Magic City. Seeing that it was already dark here and there were not many people on duty, Lin Feng walked over. Then he asked all the people in the big truck behind him to get off and surround the place. After seeing this, the staff members were somewhat confused, and then rushed up to everyone and said, "Who are you and why are you making trouble here?" To be honest, the staff members were also a little nervous. After all, there were so many people. The total number of them was less than 100, and not everyone could fight. Fortunately, after Lin Feng walked up to the stage, he just patted the other party on the shoulder and told him not to be nervous, saying, "Brother, we are just here to find someone. If we find a person, then we will leave. We will not let them work anymore and we are definitely not doing anything bad. The person we are looking for is called Zhang Yuxi. Did he register at your checkpoint today?" The staff members at the Magic City checkpoint were relieved to hear that Lin Feng was not here to cause trouble, but to find someone. Although they didn't know whether it was legal for Lin Feng to do so in a big way. But the fact that there was no danger at the moment had already touched them. The few remaining staff members walked over and took some registration forms from their computers and desks. After searching, he shook his head and said to Lin Feng, "Sir, we have already looked for it. There is no name called Zhang Yuxi that you mentioned." After hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He had guessed this result before, but when it really happened, he was still a little unbelievable. So he said to Lao Li next to him, "Look, I said that he might not be at the gate of the Magic City. Now it is proved that he has not left the Magic City. He should be hiding somewhere in the Magic City now." Lao Li was a little surprised. He thought that he had been following Zhang Yuxi for such a long time. Although he could not say that he knew everything about the other party, it was normal to know 80% or 90% of it. But now he realized that he didn't know Zhang Yuxi very well, and he gave Lin Feng a wrong estimate. He said apologetically, "I'm sorry, Mr. Lin, it's all because of my fault that you made this trip in vain." As a worker, he should take responsibility for the mistakes he made. But Lin Feng shook his head and said to him, "Since you don't know him, it's hard for other people to know him. I was thinking about whether to start from others, but now it seems impossible." Of course, Lin Feng thought that the first person he thought of was Lu Qingqing. He thought that Lu Qingqing was hanging out with this guy all day, so he should be more familiar with the other party's existence. But he thought of the big undercover around him, who had been following Zhang Yuxi for such a long time, but didn't know where the other party was, and his understanding of his personality was not so completely consistent. So he thought that Lu Qingqing, who had just known Zhang Yuxi for less than a month, was originally a young lady and didn't care about anything. It was very common for her to be deceived by someone like Zhang Yuxi. If she wasn't deceived, it would be a very strange thing. Even if Lin Feng found Lu Qingqing and asked him about Zhang Yuxi, he should not know anything. Even if he knew, it would be false news. Lin Feng shook his head, sorted out the information in his head, and said to the people next to him, "Leave a few people at the checkpoint. If someone tells you that there is news about Zhang Yuxi, tell me immediately. Others, follow me back." Now is just a very quiet moment in the whole night, so if they are asked to search for Zhang Yuxi all over the city, it will be very effective and will definitely be much easier than during the day. So Lin Feng sent all the remaining people to other places. Anyway, their task tonight is to try to find traces of Zhang Yuxi, not to say that they must find Zhang Yuxi. They don't have such a great ability. Someone has already sent the relevant information to Lin Feng's mobile phone in Zhang Yuxi's home. One of the information is some real estate purchased by Zhang Yuxi in the entire Magic City. After getting this information, Lin Feng first thought, could it be that Zhang Yuxi left it deliberately? Because the other party actually deceived Lao Li, he felt that Lao Li was not the most trusted person. Then the possibility of deliberately leaving this information is relatively high. If Lin Feng gets it, he might be deceived. So he was now hesitating whether to open this document. At this time, a voice from a person on the phone sounded in his ear, and then said, "Mr. Lin, you must not have thought of one thing. We found something very interesting, that is, there is a bug outside his house, and the range of this bug is quite large." After hearing this, Lin Feng probably understood something, and then said to the person on the phone, "Okay, since you already have it, and it has been discovered for so long, move all the things in the villa out, and then withdraw. After all, it is meaningless to let those people stay in the villa." After Lin Feng gave the order, many people left the villa one after another. Lin Feng hung up the phone and said to Lao Li next to him, "In fact, I think it is possible that at the beginning, he really wanted to leave the entire magic city, but he only lied to you, or maybe he was testing you, but from the moment you called me, he already knew that you were on my side. Because a bug was found at home." Chapter 1355, A Promise Worth 1,000 Pieces. After hearing this, Lao Li stared at Lin Feng, a little afraid to do so. So that's it. He hasn't revealed his identity for so many years. That's because he never called Lin Feng in that house. But this time is different, because Zhang Yuxi has left, so he forgot to go out and make a call, and the other party heard it. No wonder the other party said he wanted to leave the magic city, but didn't do it in the end. It should be because he heard the news he told Lin Feng. Seeing Lao Li's self-blame, Lin Feng patted his shoulder and said, "It doesn't matter, anyway, he has become a street rat now. It won't be long before we can find his whereabouts. Anyway, he will fall into our hands sooner or later." Lin Feng is still very confident about this matter, so after comforting Lao Li, he got in the car again. He has been outside for a long time today. He hopes that he will not be blamed by his wife when he returns home. He glanced at the time. It was already past 3 in the morning. After Lin Feng got in the car, he said to the person next to him, "Drive Lao Li home first, and then send him home." Lao Li was flattered after hearing this, and said to him, "How can this be? Boss Lin, with your status, you should go home first, and then have someone send me back." Lin Feng shook his head and said, "Anyway, you are already an elderly person, there is no need to say these useless words, hurry up and leave." Lin Feng's words made him feel very relieved, and then he nodded and said, "Okay, Boss Lin, I will leave first, but after I leave in a while, you must be careful not to get hurt. After all, people like Zhang Yuxi are cunning and changeable, and he is also very afraid that Lin Feng will be cheated by the other party, so he gave a few more words. After all, during the period of following Zhang Yuxi, even he himself was almost cheated by Zhang Yuxi and had nothing. So his undercover was indeed a failure. However, Lin Feng patted his shoulder and said to him, "Don't worry, I will take good care of myself, you go too." After saying this, Lin Feng watched the other party leave, and then his eyes suddenly became cold. He said to the people next to him, "You guys go and search for Zhang Yuxi's whereabouts now, and I'm going to meet someone." All his younger brothers nodded and said, "Yes, Mr. Lin, we'll go now." After they left, Lin Feng drove with 2 people and headed in another direction. That direction was naturally the direction of the Lu family, although it was already late at night. It was about to dawn, but Lin Feng didn't feel sleepy at all, and he still wanted to relax himself. The reason why he wanted to take these people to the Lu family at once was only one reason, that is, because he wanted to find someone from the Lu family to cooperate. Although a first-class family like the Lu family is not worth much money in his eyes, it is not impossible to kick the other party out. But what he thought was that if he could get the Lu family to help together, then the power of the collection would be a little more. After all, he couldn't ask all his people to do the same thing, otherwise it would be a waste of talent. So before he arrived at the Lu family, he asked his assistant to call the other party. The old man of the Lu family had fallen asleep late at night, but when the phone in their living room rang and someone answered the phone, the tranquility of the night was immediately broken for the entire Lu family. The assistant took his phone and knocked on the door of the old man's room. Before the old man of the Lu family woke up completely, he had already woken up the drowsy old man of the Lu family. He woke up from the bed, and then said to the other party, "Grandpa, this is Mr. Lin calling you. He has something important to tell you now. You can say a few words to him." The old man of the Lu family, who was still in sleep, nodded quickly after hearing this, and then took his reading glasses and said to him, "Is that so? That's great, come on, let me see if Mr. Lin has anything to tell me." After he said this, he put the phone to his ear, and then said to Lin Feng on the phone, "Mr. Lin, did something happen to you late at night? Is there anything I can do for you? There was no complaint in the other party's tone, and it looked quite normal. So he nodded and said, "It's like this, I need you to help me do something now. If you can do it well, then I will have the next cooperation with your Lu family. If you can't help, then let's forget about it. Do you think your Lu family is willing to help together?" Such a good thing. I didn't expect Lin Feng to find me. He felt that Lin Feng must have a new idea for their Lu family, otherwise he would not share good things with him. So he nodded and agreed quickly and said, "Since Mr. Lin can think highly of my Lu family, then it is an honor for my Lu family, and we are willing to do it. Mr. Lin, just tell me what you want. If I can do it for you, I will definitely not delay." Seeing that he agreed so readily, Lin Feng didn't say any more nonsense, so he said, "It's like this, I have now destroyed Zhang Yuxi's villa, his residence, and his office, and brought people to block it. Tomorrow morning he wants to hold a press conference, which is impossible, so I still have one thing to do, which is to find where he's hiding. If your Lu family is willing to help me find the whereabouts of Zhang Yuxi, then we can still discuss and talk about the matter between us. If we can't find it, then forget it." After hearing this, Mr. Lu suddenly became energetic. He didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to be killed by Lin Feng so quickly. This is a great thing. How could he miss such a thing that kills two birds with one stone? After all, if Zhang Yuxi had not abducted his granddaughter and caused the other party to break with his family, then so many people in the Lu family would not be in a very sensitive stage now. Therefore, it is reasonable for Mr. Lu to agree to Lin Feng. After he finished speaking, Lin Feng nodded. Mr. Lu's explanation was within his expectations, but after getting the other party's affirmation, he breathed a sigh of relief, and then told the other party the specific method. "Since you have agreed, then I will take it as your choice to cooperate with me seriously. From now on, as long as you can really find the whereabouts of Zhang Yuxi, I can give you a reward. I am a person who keeps his words, so you don't have to worry that I will run away." Lin Feng's promise is of course worth 1,000 gold. How could Mr. Lu be so ignorant to doubt the other party? So, he immediately ordered his assistant to do this matter. Chapter 1356. Let her leave immediately. Help us get all the people we can transfer out, and then have them start searching for information about Zhang Yuxi in the Magic City. If you find any, don't act rashly, but come back and tell me, and I'll tell Mr. Lin to let him decide everything. After saying this, the assistant nodded very understandingly, and then said, "Okay, old man, you can rest assured to leave this matter to me, I will definitely do it well." The conversation between the two of them, the master and the servant, had also been heard by Lin Feng, so after knowing it, Lin Feng was indeed very satisfied. These people are at least really working for him. If there are any benefits in the future, then he will not lose his own benefits. Zhang Yuxi, if you take care of yourself, you won't have come to this point today, so all this is your own fault. Mr. Lu said with a deep smile on his face and vicious eyes. The assistant next to him also thought so. Since Mr. Lu dared to say such a thing, it means that he has a certain degree of confidence that he can deal with Zhang Yuxi. You have to know that there is a reason why the Lu family can survive in the entire Magic City. They didn't take action against Zhang Yuxi before, and everyone would fight to the death. It was completely because they were both businessmen in the business world. If they took action like this, it would probably break the rules and leave deeper hatred between each other, but now Lin Feng has spoken. Even if something really happens, Lin Feng will cover it. What is he afraid of? So after this condition was reached, everyone acted very actively. Basically, half of the forces in the Magic City are looking for Zhang Yuxi. I'm afraid that Zhang Yuxi originally decided to hide for a week. Now he will be found in 3 days at most, and this is still a conservative situation. Now he is afraid that he can't escape. Lu Qingqing also knew that there was no other choice except to return to her own home, so she returned to the Lu family very spinelessly, and said to the housekeeper after seeing him, "Where's my grandfather? Take me to see him quickly. I have something to discuss with him." After saying this, the housekeeper looked at her hesitantly, and then said, "I'm sorry, miss, because you secretly left home these few days." The old man was very angry, so he said that if you come back, you must first write to him before considering whether to let you into the house. What this means is that no matter what Lu Qingqing does when she returns home, whether she apologizes or continues to make mistakes, it all depends on the mood of the old man. The grandfather who doted on him before is now completely gone. Because he betrayed the Lu family and made his grandfather sad many times, no one can help. After hearing this, Lu Qingqing gritted her teeth, clenched her fists and said to the housekeeper, "Get lost, I am half the master in this house, this is my home, why can't you go to see my grandfather, let me in quickly, otherwise I will break in by myself." He still thought he was the old lady. He wanted to force his way in, but the housekeeper calmly summoned 2 security guards to open the door, pushed him out, and said to him without any mercy, "Miss, this is our last advice to you. If you continue like this, then we really have no choice but to take action against you, so you better wait here obediently. As long as I go back and tell the master, if he agrees to see you, then I will naturally let you in." This can also be regarded as the punishment given to Lu Qingqing by the Lu family. After all, when he was very decisive in breaking off relations with the Lu family before, he should have thought of today's scene. If Lu Qingqing wanted to go in now, she really couldn't get through this barrier, so she nodded and said, "Very good, housekeeper, since you are so ruthless to me, then I will kick you once and wait here for you to come back and report to me, but I will wait here for a maximum of 5 minutes. If there is no result, then I will still force my way in. Unless you beat me to death here today." In the end, Lu Qingqing still relied on her identity as the eldest daughter of the entire Lu family. She also believed that these people would not dare to really do anything to her, so she dared to be arrogant in front of the housekeeper. The housekeeper's expression did not change at all. After all, he had been the housekeeper of the Lu family for so many years, and he knew what to say and what not to say. He had dealt with too many such difficulties, so he said, "Miss, why do you have to make things difficult for me? Even if you stumble, you will be injured in the end, but don't forget that if Grandpa doesn't want to see you, then no one can do anything about it. Are you really going to die at the gate?" After saying this, Lu Qingqing was also very angry. She knew that this time had made her grandfather very angry, so he was thinking about how to solve this problem, but he didn't have the strength to do it, and he felt very uncomfortable. Seeing that Lu Qingqing was finally persuaded by him, the housekeeper turned around and walked into the room, telling Grandpa Lu everything that had happened before. In fact, just now on the 2nd floor, the old man had already seen the surveillance outside the door, so he knew that his granddaughter was back, and he also knew what he said and what he did. But Mr. Lu was still very angry. Before this guy got into trouble, he followed Zhang Yuxi to make trouble all day. Now that he saw Zhang Yuxi was in trouble, he came back eagerly. Did he really think that his Lu family was so easy to enter and exit? So when the housekeeper came up, Mr. Lu used his crutches to poke the ground, and then said very loudly, "Don't let that unfilial granddaughter in, otherwise I will break his dog legs. No one is allowed to let him in. Do you hear me?" Originally, the housekeeper came to test the waters, but before he opened his mouth, Mr. Lu was so angry. Of course, he understood that this anger was not fake anger. It was not that Lu Qingqing was the most beloved granddaughter of Mr. Lu, and she only needed to act a little bit, so the housekeeper said very tactfully, "Yes, master, I will go back and tell the eldest lady to let her leave immediately." After hearing this, Mr. Lu felt a little uncomfortable. After all, that was his granddaughter who had been spoiled since childhood. But now he's locked out of the house, and he doesn't know when he will be able to enter the house. This makes a grandfather feel uncomfortable. But who caused all this? Wasn't it him? If he doesn't teach Miss Lu a lesson this time, who knows what earth-shattering things he will do in the future. Chapter 1357. Don't keep me in suspense. Just at this time, outside the gate, Master Lu, who had just gotten off the luxury car and was about to enter the house, was extremely happy when he saw his sister coming back. So he patted his sister's shoulder and said excitedly, "My dear sister, you are finally home. Let's go, brother will take you in." Just when she was worried about not being able to go in, Lu Qingqing nodded after hearing what her brother said, showing a hint of a smile and said, "Okay, brother, I will go in with you, so that Grandpa won't say anything bad about you." When Master Lu was about to take his sister in, the housekeeper who came out suddenly came in front of him and said to him, "Master, you'd better not care about this matter. If you want to intervene in this matter, it will definitely cause the displeasure of the old man, so let's stop it." When he said this, his eyes also looked at Lu Qingqing. What he meant was that he had warned Lu Qingqing just now, but he didn't expect that after just a few minutes, she actually wanted to enter the Lu family again. How could this be possible? Since the Lu family has already punished him, the punishment will continue to the end. Lu Qingqing snorted coldly, then turned her back and refused to talk to her brother and the housekeeper. Now, the eldest son of the Lu family finally understood what had happened. It was just that his sister wanted to return to the Lu family. But their grandfather, Mr. Lu, was not very happy. He must have specially sent someone to block Lu Qingqing outside the door. Otherwise, people like Lu Qingqing would be driven away even if they stayed at the door for one more second after being expelled from the family, not to mention that they have been making trouble for so long. So the eldest son of the Lu family finally peeked into his grandfather's inner thoughts. So he said to the housekeeper in front of him, "Okay, if that's the case, then I'll go in and take a look. Then let's see if Grandpa really doesn't want his own granddaughter anymore." After saying this, it was the first time that Lu Qingqing saw her brother speak so toughly. I've seen him stand up for me before, but that was only in my own family. If I asked him to help me deal with the discomfort, I guess he wouldn't even fart. After shaking his head, Lu Qingqing walked aside with a gloomy look, and didn't say much. At this time, the eldest son of the Lu family said to his sister, "I just came back. It's normal for Grandpa to be angry now. Wait for me to go in and tell him. Maybe he will calm down in a while." Although this is a very beautiful idea, Lu Qingqing still has a fantasy in her heart. Maybe she can really get her grandfather's forgiveness. But this is just a guess. You know, the rules of their Lu family are very strict. Even if there is any mistake between their own children and granddaughters, they must be dealt with according to the family rules. So now, Lu Qingqing has made such a big mistake. If he just lets him get away with a misunderstanding, then it is unknown how much trouble the whole team will have. If she makes any mistakes in the future, she can just cry and make a fuss and go back to the Lu family. How can this be a big family? So now it can be said that Mr. Lu is killing a chicken to scare the monkey. He also treats his granddaughter equally. Even if the other party is a younger generation he likes, he must deal with it according to the most stringent rules. Just now, Mr. Lu has already said this to the housekeeper, so at this time, the housekeeper said to the unconvinced Lu Qingqing in front of him, "It can be seen that you think what we said is wrong, miss. If you insist on going in, it is not impossible, but there is a requirement that you must meet." After Lu Qingqing mentioned that she had the opportunity to enter the family again, her first reaction was of course joy. But then, when he saw this scene on the corner of the housekeeper's mouth, a very extraordinary smile, he felt that this matter must not be that simple. So, he gradually put away the excitement in his heart, and then asked, "I don't know what this requirement you are talking about is." The eldest young master of the Lu family next to him was also very curious. This is a key matter about whether his sister can return to his family again, so he can't mess around. After hearing what he said, the housekeeper clapped his hands, and a woman stood behind her, holding trays one by one. Each tray was covered with a red cloth, and the contents inside were unknown. When seeing this, Lu Qingqing was confused and didn't understand what was inside, so she asked, "Butler, why are you keeping me in suspense? It's better to just tell me directly." The housekeeper laughed and said to him, "It's actually very simple, miss. You just need to choose any one of the trays, open it and see what your requirements are. After completing it, you can go back, so this is also a very exciting and interesting exchange price. Of course, miss, if you don't want to, then you can continue to wait here until the old man really calms down." After saying this, if he really continued to wait, he would definitely not be able to wait. Lu Qingqing shook her head. He stood up and said to the housekeeper, "Okay, then I'll pick a box. By the way, the requirements in every box won't be the same, right?" He had to doubt that his current idea was not unreasonable, so after hearing this, the other party said helplessly, "No, miss, just draw this one with confidence. You can't see anything inside the box, we can all follow the rules of literature." This was also the first time that Lu Qingqing saw someone who could return to his family in such a strange way. In the past, he could only gain new things when he was in the Lin family. He felt curious for a moment, nodded, and then randomly drew a brand. The other party snatched it away and opened it. Lu Qingqing read it out, and then said, "So Miss Lu Qingqing, what you have to do is hide outside our grandfather's study and play the 3 most popular songs. As long as you can move the old man, he can let you return to the Lu family. How about it? This plan is not bad. Rather than saying this is a punishment, it's better to say this is a reward." In such a situation, he could also feel that he would soon become the most famous person in the Lu family. Because as the eldest daughter, he used to do nothing but fooling around. He never did anything serious to please his grandfather. In the past, he only needed to act like a spoiled child, but now he needs to use very professional skills. He nodded. This was not a difficult task for him. As the eldest daughter of the Lu family, didn't she have a few talents to show off? Lu Qingqing was naturally willing to be a housekeeper, so he followed a housekeeper and sneaked into the villa. Chapter 1358. The Lu family made great contributions. The master of the Lu family lived on the second floor of the villa. She came to the bottom of the garden again. She took out the violin she had learned before, and then winked at the housekeeper. The other party left, and then Lu Qingqing began to play a violin piece. Although there was no sound upstairs, it did not hinder his performance. After all, she was a socialite, so she was very professional in this aspect. When he finished playing one piece, there was still no sound upstairs. At this time, he played the second one. Anyway, she only had time for 3 songs. He didn't believe that his grandfather would joke with him like this. Even if it was a joke, it could make his grandfather less angry, and it was worth it. So when he finished playing the second piece, he still didn't hear any sound upstairs. He was wondering if the song he played was not good enough. After all, he hadn't played it for many years. At this time, a kind voice came from upstairs, saying, "Continue." It was his grandfather's voice. Lu Qingqing was extremely happy, because he originally thought that his grandfather would not want to talk to him again after listening to the 3 songs he played. He might even kick her out again. But unexpectedly, he just let her continue playing. After nodding, Lu Qingqing played the 3rd piece of music. When he was about to finish the 3rd violin piece, after a while, the housekeeper came up and said to him, "Miss, the old man said that he has forgiven you, so you can now go with me to see the old man like this." After hearing this, Lu Qingqing was so happy that she almost laughed out loud. She said to the other party, "Okay, then let's go now." Although Lu Qingqing had said before that she would take revenge on her housekeeper, now that he could go up to see his grandfather, he felt that he was not so petty, so he forgave the old housekeeper. After going up, he heard a voice pretending to be very serious, saying, "You girl, you went out for so long before you knew to come back. If you hadn't come back to avoid the disaster, maybe you would have to wait for many years before you could see me, an old man." After saying this, Lu Qingqing could clearly hear that it was her grandfather who was deliberately mocking her. She said that she didn't know how to be filial and took so long to go back. Lu Qingqing nodded, then knelt down and confessed to her grandfather, "Grandpa, I was really wrong. I shouldn't have followed Zhang Yuxi around. I have nothing now. If you don't let me come back, I will have to sleep on the street." She was a noble lady back then. Now she has fallen to sleeping on the street. If your grandfather really loves her, he would not want to see such a situation happen, so he said this deliberately. This made Mr. Lu just sigh. It can be seen that he was a little angry with his granddaughter, but he still touched his granddaughter's hair with his kind hand. Okay, it's good to be back now. Grandpa, I won't bother you so much, but you have to promise not to mess around with those people in the future, otherwise I can forgive you this time, but it may not be the case next time." Just like that, he was forgiven by his grandfather, so Lu Qingqing said very happily, "Okay, Grandpa, I promise I will never do this again." After saying this, he picked up his piano again and said to his grandfather, "Do you want me to play another song for you?" Seeing such a harmonious picture, the housekeeper nodded happily. It seems that his old man's heart is not so cruel. Just like that, under Lu Qingqing's coaxing, his grandfather forgave him. But during the meal, his grandfather suddenly asked you if he knew the whereabouts of Zhang Yuxi. After asking this question, Lu Qingqing was still a little hesitant, because he didn't know whether he should say this sentence. If he said it, would it affect his meeting with Zhang Yuxi in the future? However, at this time, his grandfather reminded him and said, "Don't forget, Zhang Yuxi is now a rat crossing the street." In addition to Grandpa's opposition to him, Lin Feng also ordered that other big families must find him. This time he will not be as lucky as before. Even if you protect him now, you can't protect him forever. Do you still want to use him to take revenge on Lin Feng? Wake up. After saying this, he also felt that what his grandfather said made sense, so he nodded and said, "Okay, Grandpa, then I will tell you. In fact, Zhang Yuxi revealed to me before that he was going to a house by the sea, because I heard the sound of the sea that day. As for whether he has left now, I don't know. After all, only a few hours have passed. It was less than half a day since Lin Feng called the old man in the middle of the night yesterday, so he believed that Zhang Yuxi should still be at the seaside, he said. So, after nodding seriously, he said to the assistant next to him, "Tell Mr. Lin this news now." After receiving the order, the assistant nodded immediately, and then left the living room to call Lin Feng. At this time, Lin Feng was already dressed in a suit and tie. He was ready to go out for a meeting immediately. His cell phone rang. Basically, since he ordered those forces to find Zhang Yuxi in the middle of the night today, someone kept calling him, but the news he could get was very little. He only saw the phone at this moment. Seeing that it was a call from the Lu family, his eyes flashed. Could it be that they have found their whereabouts? Otherwise, the Lu family would not dare to come to greet him casually. So he rolled up the phone. "Hello, have you found the news?" After Lin Feng said. The other party's excited voice came. "It's like this, Mr. Lin, our eldest lady is back." The information he provided traces that when he contacted Zhang Yuxi yesterday, he was still at the beach. If nothing unexpected happens, he is still in the house by the beach. If someone has been sent to investigate, they should be able to find out more about the beach. After saying this, Lin Feng nodded. Good job. If it's the beach, then he can narrow down the scope a little more. Today he saw the situation reported by his subordinates. Zhang Yuxi really has a lot of houses, reaching hundreds. This time, it can be regarded as a great achievement for the Lu family. Chapter 1359, New and Old Accounts Settled Together. Lin Feng said to Mr. Lu, "I already know that your granddaughter has returned. Since this news is what he said, then forgive him. But if I find out that she and Zhang Yuxi have other secret plots, don't blame me for settling the score later." After hearing what Lin Feng said, Mr. Lu was extremely happy. Because this means that from now on, Lin Feng can write off all the previous grudges. He was afraid that Lin Feng would keep brooding about the past, but now it seems that this is not the case, so he is a little happy now. Sure enough, if you want to beg for Lin Feng's forgiveness, you must find a good time to tell this matter, otherwise it will be a little late or a little early. That may not necessarily get Lin Feng's forgiveness, so now Mr. Lu is even happier. He said to his granddaughter Lu Qingqing next to him, "What are you still doing? Come here quickly, thank Lin Feng quickly, he has forgiven you, don't you say anything." After hearing this, Lu Qingqing came over reluctantly. Although he was forced to return to his home this time and apologize to his grandfather. It was because he felt that he was homeless, but it did not mean that he had to compromise with his grandfather or people like Lin Feng. But Lin Feng on the phone seemed to know that Lu Qingqing was unwilling to apologize to him. So he said to Mr. Lu, "Then let your granddaughter apologize quickly, didn't I say it? Your granddaughter actually offended me. I have given her such a chance to reform more than once or twice. If he doesn't know what's good for him again, you say he makes any mistakes next time, then I will settle the new and old accounts together." Lin Feng's words made Mr. Lu generally scared. So he scolded his granddaughter Lu Qingqing, and then said, "What are you waiting for? Don't let me beat you myself." Because when Lin Feng wanted to settle accounts with Lu Qingqing before, Grandpa Lu had already beaten him once. If he beat him again this time, he would really feel embarrassed. Lu Qingqing couldn't help but walk over unhappily, and then took the phone from Grandpa Lu's hand, and then said to the person on the phone, "Hello, this is Lu Qingqing. Please forgive me, I won't go against you again in the future." After saying this, he handed the phone directly to his grandfather, and then turned around in a bit of anger. He did so much useless work this time, didn't he just want to take revenge on Lin Feng? But the result was not only unsuccessful, but also let Lin Feng take advantage of him again. When he was unhappy, he went back to his room. At this time, he took out his mobile phone, called Zhang Yuxi and said to him, "I have just told Lin Feng your whereabouts. If you don't want to be discovered, then you know what to do now." After hearing that he was threatened, Zhang Yuxi was furious, and then said to him, "You are really so bold, you dare to say such a thing, do you know? If I want to make trouble for you, then I can send someone now. What's the point of you hiding in the Lu family now? Unless you stay at home for the rest of your life, otherwise, I will sometimes retaliate against you." Because now Zhang Yuxi has been abandoned by everyone. As long as Lin Feng makes a move to completely ban him, it will indeed make it impossible for him to stay in the entire demon city. His only ally is Lu Qingqing, who actually wants to plot against him. And told Lin Feng such words, which would be a devastating blow to him, and he would be sorry for himself if he didn't retaliate. After hearing this, Lu Qingqing chuckled and said, "Isn't it just a joke? Do you have to be so angry with me like this? I've just said that all this is the result of your own actions. If you had taken action against Lin Feng earlier, this wouldn't have happened." Zhang Yuxi was a little confused, because he didn't know what his ally Lu Qingqing wanted to do. One moment she said she wanted to expose him, and the next moment she said she wanted to help him. He said impatiently, "Just say what you want to say. If I communicate with you for too long and you locate me, then I will lose more than I gain." Maybe it was because the words just now had made him feel very insecure, so after this, Lu Qingqing hurriedly said comfortingly, "Don't worry, I said I would give you a way to live, so naturally there is a way to live for you to choose. After you kill the secretary who retaliated against you, you will be able to get a plane ticket to a foreign country. Anyway, you have branches abroad. If you really don't want to give up the fight with Lin Feng, then you should go abroad for a few years before coming back. Isn't that better?" Lu Qingqing wanted to play the long game. For a moment, even Zhang Yuxi didn't know whether what his ally said was true or false. He could only say half doubtfully, "Are you serious? I will be abroad for a few years. If Lin Feng becomes more powerful, how can I deal with him when I come back?" Lu Qingqing thought for a while, then replied, "Why don't you believe me? As long as there is news, I will tell you everything Lin Feng does. And I won't give up following him next time." What Lu Qingqing did this time was great, because the reason he chose to return home was because he knew that he couldn't beat Lin Feng. If he didn't want to be dealt with by Lin Feng, the only choice was to apologize. That's right, it's enough to apologize at such a good time. Let the other party forgive him. If he did such a behavior at another time, it would naturally be of no benefit. So he could only take care of himself, and Zhang Yuxi suffered the consequences. He had to run to Lin Feng's laboratory building to steal the medicine in the early morning yesterday. Who can he blame? If Lu Qingqing knew his plan at the beginning, she would have advised him. But it's too late now, so you can't blame Lu Qingqing for choosing another decision. After hearing what he said, Zhang Yuxi took a breath and said, "Okay, then I will believe you this time. I can go abroad, but you must tell me everything about Lin Feng as you said." After hearing Zhang Yuxi's instructions, Lu Qingqing nodded and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely tell you anything about Lin Feng, because I am waiting for this guy to suffer. After all, there is a long way to go, and this sentence is not just talk, so Lu Qingqing has the patience to wait." As for Zhang Yuxi, if he was left in the country, who knows if he would be caught by Lin Feng one day and then expose more things. This is also what he didn't want. It would be good to be able to train another person who could be controlled by him in the future and then deal with Lin Feng. So after he said this, Zhang Yuxi had no idea that Lu Qingqing had such a meaning in her heart. After hanging up the phone, Lu Qingqing thought she had prepared perfectly and planned to go back to sleep. Chapter 1360 No Successor. At this time, next to him, the housekeeper put down the earphone in his hand, squinted his eyes, and said to the person next to him. Then he told the old man, "I have heard everything the eldest lady said, and now I will go back to report to him." After all, this matter is also quite big, so the housekeeper feels that this matter cannot be told directly to the people below. He first asked the people below to pass on the message, but he didn't expect that he would be betrayed by his granddaughter in the end. When the old man heard it, he must be very sad. After thinking of this, the housekeeper couldn't help but sigh. How could this kind of thing always happen in their Lu family? The people below nodded and left. After a while, the housekeeper also left. Because this room was originally a place for Lu Qingqing to store sundries in the past. It's just that this room is not used much now, but what he never expected was that the housekeeper would install a monitoring device here as soon as he came back. After monitoring the content of his conversation, he immediately turned around and told his grandfather. Now the housekeeper is in the old man's room. The elderly man had just taken a jar of medicine and asked the person next to him to take it away. As long as he saw the heavy look in the housekeeper's eyes, the old man basically knew the general direction. His mood had become a little bad. The housekeeper raised his hand and said to the old man, "Old man, don't be angry first, listen to me, we still have a chance to make amends." After hearing what the housekeeper said, Mr. Lu understood what the other party wanted to say. He nodded and said, "Okay, then you say it. If my estimate is correct, then I can guess what you are going to say next." To be honest, the housekeeper at this time also felt sorry for his master. After all, the old man loved his granddaughter the most, not his grandson. The result. but it was betrayed again and again. After saying this, the other party was also helpless, and then said, "The eldest lady is indeed like you said, she is not wholeheartedly trying to tell the whereabouts of Zhang Yuxi. What he said just now is the truth. The other party is very likely to really live by the sea. But just now I heard the eldest lady and Zhang Yuxi talking on the phone, and they also said one thing, that is, the eldest lady wants him to go abroad to avoid the limelight, and then let him come back when the time is right. As for the time being for the big and small explanations, it is also because he wants to use Zhang Yuxi to deal with Mr. Lin again." Although he had been mentally prepared for a long time, the old man of the Lu family was so angry when he heard his granddaughter have such unrealistic ideas again that he coughed directly. The people next to him hurried over to persuade him, saying, "Grandpa, don't be angry. What if you get angry and hurt your body?" Grandpa Lu pushed the other person away, and then said loudly, "I don't have many years left, but I didn't expect to raise such an ungrateful person. He will not be satisfied until he brings disaster to my Lu family, right? Pass on my order, go and call him here immediately. If I don't beat this unfilial grandson to death today, my Lu family will be in trouble sooner or later." The housekeeper didn't think so, shook his head and said, "Grandpa, even if you really beat the eldest lady to death, this matter will not develop in a good direction. Since we all know where this matter will develop, it is better to tell Mr. Lin about this plan directly. After telling Mr. Lin, he will have his own plans by then, and we don't need to interfere." After saying this, Mr. Lu also felt that what his assistant said was very reasonable, so he nodded and said, "Okay, since you think so, then I will do as you say." After the two finished talking, they did not let Lu Qingqing know anything about this matter. But for Mr. Lu, he had seen through his granddaughter very thoroughly. Because he felt that the other party was too ungrateful. She lied to him openly, but in fact she was still thinking about calculating Lin Feng again. She didn't even look at how much difference there was between him and Lin Feng. Even if he used the entire Lu family as a bargaining chip, it would not be comparable, but he made mistakes again and again. He still didn't repent. Thinking of how Lu Qingqing deliberately tried to please him today, she probably just wanted to return to the family temporarily, and it didn't mean that she would listen to her grandfather. The housekeeper shook his head helplessly and advised, "Don't be too sad, old man. Since this has happened, just let it go. Otherwise, what else can you do?" That's right, what the other party said, isn't it? In addition to forgiving his granddaughter, he really couldn't think of any other way. But it doesn't matter, he didn't plan to forgive the other party again. So he said, "Then do it as you said." After that, he waved his hand, meaning to let his housekeeper step back first. He was so angry about Lu Qingqing's matter that he needed to rest. Otherwise, I really don't know if this body can drag on. Looking at the old man taking medicine, the housekeeper didn't say anything more. So he nodded, picked up the things next to him and walked out, shaking his head. In fact, the housekeeper still felt sorry for the old man in his heart. The only two grandsons he loved. One is not doing his job, and the other is not listening to discipline. Who can this huge Lu family be handed over to in the future? He really has no successor. It's just a pity for Mr. Lu. His granddaughter has caused such a disaster now. Mr. Lu has no choice but to tell Lin Feng the news. Of course, he integrated the news himself first, and then told Lin Feng. Lin Feng has already issued an order to go to the beach to find Zhang Yuxi's residence. Now he received another call from Mr. Lu, and he thought the other party had new news. After answering the phone, he said, "What's wrong? Is there anything you want to say?" The other party replied, "It's like this, Mr. Lin, I just heard from my granddaughter. Zhang Yuxi wants to hide abroad for a few years, and then come back to settle accounts with you, so if you are capable, Mr. Lin, I still suggest that you catch him directly, and never let him run away." On the other side, Lin Feng, who received the call, was a little surprised after hearing what Mr. Lu said, and then asked the other party, "Is your granddaughter really serious about what she said? If so, then I will go down and ask someone to do it." Mr. Lu nodded and said very affirmatively, "Of course it is true, Mr. Lin, don't you still believe what I said? It's great that our Lu family can get your forgiveness. How dare I deceive you casually again?" After hearing this, Lin Feng no longer doubted it. He also felt that the other party should not have the courage to deceive him. Even if his granddaughter Lu Qingqing dared to do this, Mr. Lu would never go against him for the sake of the entire Lu family. He said to the assistant next to him, "Did you hear that? Mr. Lu just said that Zhang Yuxi not only wants to leave the entire magic city, but also wants to leave the country and go abroad. We must stop him. Otherwise, who knows if he will be like an eagle flying in the sky in the past few years. If he returns to the country again, I'm afraid it will be a different story. The assistant realized the trouble of this matter. He originally thought that this guy would be caught by them soon, but he didn't expect that the other party was still quite fast. However, since Lin Feng had already received the news, he would definitely move faster than the other party. After the assistant went down, Lin Feng temporarily put this matter behind his mind. Because the most important thing now is his press conference. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1361 Press Conference. Just now, another assistant had sent a text message to Lin Feng. The reporters will arrive at the lobby of their company in an hour and a half, where they will hold a press conference and introduce their company's products. However, Lin Feng had someone quickly take out the frozen products from the laboratory building, thinking that he could use such an experimental platform as a substitute. Although there is no exquisite packaging, he can just say a few reasons to make it up. After Lin Feng got in the car, he asked the driver to drive to the downstairs of the company. After getting off the car, dozens or even hundreds of media rushed in, and they basically blocked Lin Feng's way. If it weren't for the security guards of Lin Feng's company forcibly pushing a path out, Lin Feng couldn't even walk into the company. After all, this is a very powerful invention in terms of technology. If Lin Feng can get it, it will not only be a good company profit, but also be included in the list of contributions to the entire world's human beings. After all, no one wants to have something like longevity. That is just an ordinary increase in lifespan. Everyone will definitely flock to it. As long as this thing is real, there will definitely be a lot of people who want to buy it. After entering the company's interior and arriving at the company's lobby, the host pulled him to the highest position and asked him to sit down. There was a microphone in front of him. Lin Feng spoke, and his deep voice came slowly. This time, my company, Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company, Limited, is holding a press conference to introduce our company's new product. You have already learned about it through our company's promotional advertisements. This product has the function of prolonging life. After saying this, many media have already pointed their cameras at his face. Most people asked if this introduction was really true. Lin Feng smiled slightly and said in response, "Of course, our pharmaceutical company naturally adheres to the rules of integrity, and the drugs we produce will never deceive the public. Moreover, our company is not a small workshop that produces drugs. If there is no such effect, of course, it will hit our company, and there are other companies under my umbrella, so naturally, such a situation will not be allowed to exist." The other reporters looked at Lin Feng, and they were actually very admiring in their hearts. Because such a person has such a function, to be honest, and it is already very remarkable in this magic city at such a young age. One of them said to him, "Mr. Lin, you said that your product can really prolong life. If others buy it, how can we prove that the effect of this product you said is true?" After listening to this, Lin Feng covered his chin with his right hand, thought for a while and said slowly, "It's very simple. The ingredients in this product can be detected, and although it cannot show how long the income can be increased after taking it, the body will have very big changes, which will keep the body unobstructed and comfortable, even if the body is seriously ill. People in the recovery period can make the cells in the body stronger. If you are sick, the energy for recovery will increase rapidly, and you may not need much medicine, and the pain will be suppressed. Of course, this is only part of it, there are other benefits." Lin Feng's words were exaggerated, giving people a feeling of disbelief. This is really incredible. There are not only drugs in this world that can prolong life, but also can cure all diseases. According to what Lin Feng said, no matter what disease you have, as long as you are not dead, it is his medicine that can reduce the disease in your body and increase your lifespan. This sounds very unreliable, but Lin Feng is the group company and his reputation in the whole magic city, and not many people dare to question him. However, he is facing a bunch of reporters and media people, some of whom want to report the truth of the news. Some people wanted to attract attention, so at this time, questions came up. Some people asked Lin Feng questions frantically. "Mr. Lin, is what you said true? This really makes us feel a little unreliable. If it is really as you said, then people who are poisoned or have cancer will be able to recover as long as they take this new drug produced by your company. Isn't that more powerful than any technology? Lin Feng also thought that the other party would ask such questions, so he had already made preparations and nodded to the other party and said, "Indeed, before, I have studied the specific ingredients in this drug. Although what I said just now are facts that you think are very absurd and exaggerated, all of this is true. And you listen to me first. This drug, of course, is impossible to work immediately after taking one. Everyone knows, right? Each drug has different ingredients, various preparations, and is different for each person's body, so the amount taken is different. So even if it can really increase lifespan, even if it's just 1 day or 1 month, the smaller the amount, the better. Otherwise, for a large part of people, they may not be able to try this medicine at all. And if you want to buy our company's medicine, we will send someone to do a physical examination to confirm whether the buyer is willing to take our medicine. If you don't use it, we won't charge you." The reporter was also a little shocked. He didn't expect Lin Feng to think so. If there are a series of security issues, it seems that Lin Feng is not lying. But this statement still makes many people feel that they dare not act recklessly. How is this possible? At this critical juncture, such a terrifying medicine can be produced. I'm afraid no one can find those great scientists and doctors, and they don't think they have the ability. But Lin Feng can research such a human invention with his own company. This is not just a way that makes reporters feel incredible. Many colleagues also sent people to the scene for this reason, so among this team of reporters, some of them are actually Lin Feng's colleagues, or even people sent by the enemy, disguised as reporters to ask questions here. The purpose was to make it impossible for Lin Feng to explain, so the next questions were more sharp than the last. A man who looked gentle and polite with glasses, but reflected a very vicious light under the lenses, said to Lin Feng, "Mr. Lin, you have been praising how good your drug is, but your drug is a new drug developed by the entire human race. No matter what, you still have to talk about the side effects. You know, there is no drug in the world without side effects." Although the other party's questions were very sharp, they still attracted the recognition of many peers. They thought it was normal to ask such questions. After all, even if it was an ordinary pharmaceutical company, if they had any newer drugs on the market, it would definitely attract media attention. This kind of question could not be said to be directed at Lin Feng, so Lin Feng answered very politely, "It's like this, I can tell you right now that there are no side effects of our drug." After hearing this, all the media were shocked. Because they felt that Lin Feng was really brave. He actually dared to say that his drug had no side effects at all. How could this be possible? Even the most common medicine, such as Isidus root, is bad for the stomach if you drink too much, but Lin Feng actually said that his medicine has no side effects. Isn't this funny? So everyone began to have a new opinion of Lin Feng. They used to think that Lin Feng was a good reporter, but at this time they shook their heads in disappointment and said to Lin Feng, "Mr. Lin, are you serious about what you said? You know, there is no medicine in the world that has no side effects. You have to be responsible for your words." Chapter 1362 Don't talk if you don't understand. Facing the media's doubts, Lin Feng laughed and said, "Of course I am responsible for what I said, that's for sure." But everyone still didn't believe what he said, or rather agreed with it. No professional would believe what Lin Feng said, and someone even live broadcasted it online at this time. After all, when a company like Lin Feng releases a new product, it will definitely attract some people's attention. In addition, Lin Feng is so handsome. People who were just bored and saw his live broadcast wanted to appreciate Lin Feng's beauty. But after hearing Lin Feng say that his medicine had no side effects, and the main effect of this medicine was to prolong life, everyone felt speechless, and some people criticized him online. "I originally thought that this little brother was so handsome, so elegant, and a company boss, so I must have chosen him, but I didn't expect him to speak like this. Even if he was acting in a movie, he wouldn't dare to act like this. That's right, I think what he said was too exaggerated. I almost laughed to death in front of the TV. I didn't expect such a person to be a big boss of a pharmaceutical company. What should I say about this? Forget it. I believe that the medicine made by such a person has the effect of prolonging life. Let's not talk about it first. Just listen to him saying that there are no side effects. I guess it will kill a lot of people. There are too many people selling fake medicine now, and this person has become a big boss of a company at a young age. If there is no one behind him, then who knows what kind of medicine he sells is. Anyway, I won't buy it. The attention was originally quite high. With Lin Feng's own words, the number of people in the live broadcast room instantly decreased, but more people came in, because many people were tagged by their friends, or because Lin Feng's traffic was too high. He rushed to the top 10 of the list. This directly attracted the attention of more netizens. After seeing this scene, everyone felt it was incredible. Because any mature boss would not say such an absolute thing. People who say such big words in the business world are either liars or fools. So the audience's eyes on Lin Feng are naturally not very high. Because they all think that Lin Feng is either bragging or talking nonsense. Anyway, they will never buy the medicine he made. And all the media are also waiting for a better response from Lin Feng. So the current situation is that not only these news media put on a very unbelieving attitude in front of Lin Feng, but even those netizens on the internet think that Lin Feng is bragging, including employees of the company, or students of the medical school. Everyone said it clearly. I think this is a liar. I didn't expect that such a young man would come out to sell fake drugs. If these guys are caught, they deserve it. Me too, I am now interning in a pharmaceutical company. It is very troublesome for me every day. How can there be a drug that never has any side effects? So I think this person must be lying. I really don't understand why such a person can be on the news. I suggest that the live broadcast channel of the news be turned off directly. This kind of person is not worthy at all. Guess what I found? This person is actually a very famous rich second generation in the whole magic world. His grandfather's family is very awesome. You can find out by investigating this person yourself. I won't say more about the details. In short, his family has influence in both the black and white worlds and other business and military affairs. After saying this, it was like a big stone thrown into the lake. Lian Yi's heart was moved directly. Everyone was very surprised. Many people started to search for Lin Feng directly. Even if they didn't know Lin Feng's name or identity, they could only take a screenshot of Lin Feng's face and then search it online. In this way, a person's identity could be found. After a while, some people were already exclaiming, "Awesome! It's amazing! I didn't expect it to be so amazing. No wonder it's so easy for this identity to open a company to sell some medicine." What you didn't expect is that his company is named after his girlfriend. His girlfriend is called Zhang Yuxi, so his company is called Yuxi Company. Everyone was originally rushing to find Lin Feng's identity, but they didn't expect to eat a mouthful of dog food by the way, but this couldn't cover up everyone's dissatisfaction with Lin Feng, especially many so-called professionals. They all felt that Lin Feng was just fooling around. A man in his 20s started a company without any experience at all. He just opened a club before, but this time he took the money from his family and casually squandered it to open a pharmaceutical company. And he said such big words right away. If this were put in front of any professional, they would never allow people like Lin Feng to exist, so they think that everything they did is right. Of course, Lin Feng would not care about people who commented on him on the internet, not to mention what these people are like and what he is like. They are completely different. Of course, the more reason is that Lin Feng did not know that this matter had already attracted so much traffic on the internet. If he knew, he would definitely make good use of this time. After all, this was the first time that Lin Feng opened a company and the first development and research meeting, so many things were not done very perfectly, which is understandable. In addition, after being popular through live broadcasting, this element was not something their company could control. So there was time to develop like this, but what no one expected was that there was a live broadcaster on the internet who became very angry after seeing all this. Of course, the reason why he was angry was not because he saw Lin Feng exaggerating so much and saying that his product had no side effects. This was not the same as the other viewers, who thought that Lin Feng was talking nonsense. That was because he knew Lin Feng and he liked Lin Feng very much. Of course, that person was Sister Zhou, which was why he saw so many people scolding Raymond Lam, and even some unknown small anchors were scolding Raymond Lam, just to get some traffic and popularity. He was very angry and pulled his mouse pad to the ground in the middle of the computer screen. He also threw the mouse. The audience watching him in the live broadcast room were also shocked by his appearance. Someone couldn't help asking, "Oh my God. Sister Zhou, what happened? Why are you so angry all of a sudden?" Other comments said, "Don't you understand? It must be our anchor. She is indignant because of the young people selling drugs. Most people on the internet are very concerned about this matter, and professional professors have begun to talk about how difficult the pharmaceutical industry is. This guy on the internet, he actually dared to say such shameless words. How shameful. However, after seeing what they were discussing, Sister Joe was very angry and said to the screen, "What do you people know? You don't know the person in the live broadcast at all. If you don't understand, why don't you stop talking nonsense? Others have worked so hard to make the medicine, even if they sell less than 1,000 copies, that is their own interest." Chapter 1363, Apology Video. What made Joji angry was that she felt that these people were very stupid. They actually dared to say that Lin Feng made it. How could it be fake? These people had asked her to interview them twice. If the promised ones did not come forward now, he would definitely feel that no one was protecting the Lin Feng he liked. However, he also understood that the distance between him and Lin Feng was too big, so when he got angry, the fans who had liked Lin Feng before began to reply, "So you already knew that Mr. Lin, who opened a company, actually had real strength? If we had known this earlier, we would not have misunderstood him." Most people are still very afraid of offending the powerful, so whether it is Lin Feng or Joji, who is a friend of Lin Feng, they can't offend them, so of course, but they feel uncomfortable in their hearts. They can only hold it in. During this period, Joji felt much more comfortable, because his administrator had directly cleared the entire barrage of comments, and all those who scolded Lin Feng were banned. Joji was really angry. Of course, for those who don't understand all this, this is big news. Sister Joe, who ranks in the top 10 in terms of income and popularity in the live broadcast room, would actually quarrel with her fans for a man. Of course, there are all kinds of weird people in Sister Joe's live broadcast room. One person said that he was an expert in popularizing the law and carefully introduced to everyone that if Lin Feng did this, the consequences would be very serious. I think this young man looks handsome, but he did such a shameless thing. He will definitely be punished, and he will be sentenced to less than 3 years at the lightest. I don't know if it will be higher. I think 3 years is too low. If it is higher, it is impossible to accept it. After all, people like this use the guise of live broadcast platforms and media to call on everyone to buy his products. This is really shameless. Yes, in such a big era of data, he used the internet to promote his medicine. How amazing it is. But if someone really bought his medicine, then that person is unlucky. Although people who believe what he said are people with IQ problems. In any case, this group of netizens put themselves in a high position and felt that everything Lin Feng said was wrong. From the first sentence, Lin Feng said that his medicine had no side effects. Until now, many people stood against Lin Feng and felt that everything Lin Feng said was wrong, including that he should not hold this press conference. Of course, this network was joined by various professionals later, including some of Raymond Lam's enemies in the business world, and many people were invited to continue fermenting this matter on the internet, especially some famous internet celebrities. In short, when seeing such information appear, Sister Joe chose to ignore it and directly blocked all these messages. However, in his live broadcast room, his management was too busy to block more messages. These people spoke too fast, and more people copied, and some people directly started to scold the anchor Sister Joe. I think the anchor did it too wrong. Even if you like this rich young master who looks good, you should also think about it. It is impossible for him to be with you. No matter how much you like him, you shouldn't help him say such nonsense. Many netizens think that the anchor Sister Joe said such things because of Raymond Lam's appearance in the barrage. Some people have seen Sister Joe's interview before. Did she say that Sister Joe knew Raymond Lam? But some people still think he was joking. More people use barrage to attack people. And I say, anchor, your idea is really too absurd. Don't you look at your own identity, and what Lin Feng's identity is? Your identity and background are a world apart, okay? Even if you like him, he doesn't like you, and he already has a girlfriend. What these people said was really annoying. After hearing it, even if Sister Joe thought about the story of losing her temper just now, because he knew that the more he lost his temper, the more exciting the group of netizens hiding behind the screen would be. They would all laugh at him, especially those who had watched his live broadcast and liked him and confessed to him. At this moment, they would also think that someone like Lin Feng would not pay attention to Sister Joe, so they deliberately ridiculed him. So far, he has seen many such barrages. Although he cannot care, once the number of people increases, it will also cause him a certain amount of pressure. If he continues to help Lin Feng speak, then it will definitely affect his career in the future. Otherwise, I am afraid he will have to post an apology video. But this is a very huge impact on his career. If I apologize, it means that from now on he can only speak according to the form. If he does not apologize, then he will definitely lose a large number of fans. Now he has begun to see that his attention is constantly declining. Sister Jo is very anxious here, so she asked her assistant to call her. Sister Jo, I know that you have made a video about your live broadcast before, but now I know that the number of people in that live broadcast is not the majority, so not many people are willing to believe what you said, and your truth seems to be washed down by a larger group of people. They just don't want you to clear your name on purpose. After hearing what the assistant said, Sister Jo rolled her eyes and said, "What do you mean by clearing my name? I didn't tell a lie in the first place. As for what those people think, what does it have to do with me? Have you heard what the people above said? The most important thing now is the personnel in the company and what decisions have been made." Although the assistant has called him and told him about this matter, Sister Jo still has a glimmer of hope for the people in her company. She hopes it won't be like what she thought. But he was very disappointed soon, because the assistant replied, "What do you think? When something like this happened, we can only blame me for not managing you well. The people above have also said what you did. If you don't apologize to the audience, this matter will probably be ignored. So think about how to shoot an apology video." After hearing this, Sister Jo was stunned. Unexpectedly, things really developed in the way she imagined. Chapter 1364. Our group has plenty of money. Yes, that's right. It's also his fault. Why didn't he think about the harm of this matter at the beginning? He shook his head with some regret. At this time, his assistant said, "Sister Jo, I am willing to believe you, but some people in our company don't want to believe you. Besides, not all of us believe that what you say is true, so now we are in a weak position and can only apologize. Do you understand? Seeing that things have already happened like this, what else can Sister Jo say?" He knew that any protest of his was invalid. So as if he had given up, he nodded and said, "Okay, I will listen to you and obey all the arrangements and decisions of the company." After seeing that he finally compromised, the assistant was relieved, because this matter was also related to him, and he did not control the situation well. If Sister Jo continued to be stubborn with him at this moment, then the next punishment might have something to do with him. Fortunately, this did not happen. After Sister Jo hung up the phone, the expression on her face was very ugly, because she felt that she was not believed by others, and she was still a very important person in her heart. Whether it is the company or my friends, they basically came to persuade me to apologize quickly and not to make a big deal out of it. And now the barrage is becoming more and more serious to slander me. I think Sister Jo is too indiscriminate to take advantage of the popularity. It's not the time to look at this kind of popularity. Does he think he can become popular by riding on it? I think so too. If he doesn't ride on this kind of popularity, maybe I can still like him. If he doesn't apologize for this matter, I will stop being a fan. Normally, everyone thinks that Sister Jo is a very beautiful and very interesting entertainment anchor. But now, after discovering such a big thing, everyone has a scale in their hearts and feels that they cannot cross a line. There is absolutely no ambiguity about such international and national events, so he doesn't have much time left, and issuing an explanation as soon as possible is the most important thing. After a while, the operations director of the company called him personally and said, "Sister Jo, are you going to prepare your apology video now? Don't let the company keep urging you. You should know how important this matter is." After hearing what the company said, Sister Jo nodded and said in despair, "Okay, I can post an apology video, but I have to interview Raymond Lam on site before I can post it. This will also make me more popular. How about it?" For Sister Jo now, all this is just him playing with fire, so if he is really unlucky, then the company will also be at risk, but going at this time will just bring a new wave of traffic, which is indeed good for him. The company nodded and said, "Well, let you do this thing better at a close distance, and you may be able to put all the blame on that rich second generation. After all, you just need to try your best to lead the audience's thoughts to that side, which means that they are deceived, so that the audience will not refuse to buy your account. Because the most important thing now is that Sister Jo helps Lin Feng speak, and no one can agree. If someone agrees, he will not be so difficult now, so his decision was immediately agreed by the people above. But he was required to apologize as soon as possible. After Sister Joe agreed, she prepared her things and went out. She put on a baseball cap and took a taxi. In a moment, she arrived at Lin Feng's World Press Conference. Because this press conference was unprecedentedly grand, and everyone did not expect such a big scene. Even some reporters who usually don't want to go outside ran over one by one. After arriving, Sister Joe really had a hard time getting in. But someone knew him at the scene. After all, everyone worked in the media, whether it was traditional media or new media. There were people who knew him, so after seeing him, someone familiar with him let him in. After arriving at the battlefield for the meeting, he turned on the live broadcast. At this time, there were already millions of people, and it was gradually breaking through 10 million and continuing to increase, but many people were scolding him. Sister Joe didn't say much to them, just told them that they would know the truth in a while. Because he admired Raymond Lam very much, and felt that such a person would not be able to sell a useless fake medicine. So he wanted to prove it to everyone. At this moment, under the spotlight of all the media, Lin Feng continued to maintain his very decent smile. He was not very flustered by anyone's questioning, but said with ease, "I think I have explained enough to everyone just now. If you don't believe it, I can't do anything, but there will always be people who will buy my medicine. With my own channels, if I sell it privately to the customers I know, then I will make a lot of money. But I pushed it out and bought it on the regular market. I can only say that I have great confidence in this medicine, but everyone has completely denied what I said because of my words. Isn't it a bit arbitrary to do that?" Of course, when things got to this point, not many people chose to believe him, and people like Sister Joe who believed him were even rarer. It's just that Lin Feng thinks that the effect is really very good. The less people believe it, the more it means that when the truth is confirmed, they will know how embarrassing it is. One of the reporters said to the difficult question, "You want us to believe it? If it's true, there's no way. You have to prove it to us. As for whether the volunteer is from your company or from outside, we care about it." Although Lin Feng felt that all this was unnecessary, everyone said so he could only do it, so he said to the assistant next to him, "Why are you still standing there? Didn't you hear that so many media asked us to experiment with this drug? Hurry up and find real volunteers. Of course, don't worry about their money. Our group has plenty of money." After saying this, the assistant next to him also understood very well. Now is a very huge exposure opportunity. If you can grasp it well, maybe you can really become popular again. So he asked his boss, "Then I don't know how much money we should give to the volunteers." Hearing this, Lin Feng understood what the other party meant. So, without thinking, he said, "Give 100,000 yuan at a time." After all, this kind of product is not expensive if you're calculated based on so many questioning voices on the scene. Chapter 1365 Deliberately Digging a Trap. After Lin Feng finished speaking, all the interviewees were stunned. They didn't expect that Lin Feng would be willing to pay such a high price, 100,000 yuan per time, just for this pill. This is too crazy. Although everyone believes that the medicine sold by Lin Feng is fake, no one thinks that Lin Feng is poisoning. Maybe the person won't have any big problems after taking it. But 100,000 yuan per time is hard to earn, so many reporters present felt a little curious and surprised. They wished they were the experimenter. One of them immediately pointed the spotlight at Lin Feng and asked excitedly again, "Mr. Lin, you are using 100,000 yuan to recruit a person this time. Is it just to test this medicine, or can you guarantee that he will be compensated if there is any problem later?" After all, everyone is still full of doubts about Lin Feng's medicine. If nothing happens later, then naturally no one will say much. But if something happens, it will be difficult to deal with. After listening to it, Lin Feng nodded and said, "Of course, if there are any troubles in the future, you can come to me, and we will write a letter of guarantee." This is interesting. Everyone nodded after hearing what he said. One of them walked up to him and said, "Okay, Mr. Lin, since you have just said that your medicine can make people with cancer eligible for recovery, why don't I give it a try? I happen to have advanced gastric cancer. Anyway, I won't live much longer. The time in this industry is my countdown. So I don't want to waste my daily efforts in this industry. I came to interview you today. I also want to understand this product and then buy it myself, but your words make us all unconvinced. Since you are recruiting experimenters, I will give it a try. In this way, I will also be a real person like you. How about it? After all, if people like reporters are used as volunteers, it is indeed a bit tiring for companies without confidence. But it didn't matter to Lin Feng. He nodded and said to his assistant, "Give a contract to this reporter, and then tell him to go for a physical examination in a while, and we can start the physical examination later." After hearing this, everyone was in an uproar again, because they didn't expect Lin Feng to really dare to do this. Basically, everyone thought that Lin Feng would definitely refuse this reporter, but unexpectedly, Lin Feng not only did not refuse, but also gave the other party a chance. The reporter was a little confused at first. Could it be that this guy really has a way to cure himself? If so, it gave him a glimmer of new hope. But more of it was doubt. After all, does this kind of thing that can be called a miracle drug really exist? And more people on the internet have seen this live broadcast and come in to point out Zhang Yuxi, it's fake. I think Lin Feng will definitely find a shill. But if Lin Feng found a shill, why would he agree to this solution? This reporter tested the drug on himself. Is he also a shill? I think it's possible. After all, the reporter said that he was already terminally ill. Even if it was Lin Feng who died, so what? Anyway, he was going to die and he could make 100,000 yuan for nothing, which is not bad. These words on the internet really drove the emotions and rhythm of many viewers. Everyone also felt that Lin Feng's action was completely looking for a shill for himself. So after feedback to reality, some reporters who were interviewing began to raise this doubt to Lin Feng. After all, now with a combination of new media and traditional media, they can use online questions to directly interview Lin Feng in reality. Everyone asked Lin Feng curiously, "I don't know if your behavior, Lin Feng, is intentional, digging a hole for us." After hearing this, Lin Feng was a little curious. He didn't understand what was going on with these reporters. He explained it to them, but they didn't listen. They even slandered him. Now he didn't plan to speak to them in a gentle voice like before. So he asked very sharply, "What do you mean by that? What do you mean by setting a trap for you? Didn't you ask me to prove it? Then I will prove it to you, not to mention that even if you don't have any doubts. Then we will also take the initiative to find volunteers to test the medicine. This is to prove that our company's medicine is real, so we will do this kind of behavior. Isn't it exactly the same as the proof you want to get? Why do you still care about it?" After hearing this, the reporter said again, "We are saying that if you go to find people who take medicine, then will you deliberately find those who are tools? If you use bad words, it's a stooge." After hearing this, Lin Feng was speechless, and said to the one who refused, "Very good, what you said makes me feel that I must prove it to you. Answer me first, what company are you from?" Lin Feng was completely speechless by these reporters. No wonder the journalist industry was so powerful in the past. Although the decline of traditional media has indeed had some impact on their industry. After this industry was rectified, people who entered the industry also asked questions about Gen Z one by one. Naturally, it is difficult for people to answer psychologically. The reporter was a little panicked when he heard Lin Feng asking about his company. Could it be that Lin Feng wanted to take revenge on him? You know, Lin Feng's identity is still extraordinary. He is also a well-known figure in the entire Magic City. If this rich young master takes revenge on him, wouldn't it be over? So when he was struggling, he heard Lin Feng say, "Don't worry, I don't have any other bad thoughts about you. I asked you just because I want to register your information first and then let you try the medicine." After hearing this, the reporter immediately panicked. This is not revenge, what is it? The other party wants to let him try the medicine. If there is really something wrong with this medicine, wouldn't it be his life? If you compare letting yourself and Lin Feng to fight with each other and letting yourself take medicine directly, then it is completely two different concepts, okay? He immediately shook his head and said, "Boss Lin, I was wrong. I beg you not to make me take the medicine. If I die, then there will be no one to take care of my parents at home." Chapter 1366 The First Example. After hearing this, Lin Feng was speechless. Lin Feng said to him, "What are you thinking about? I just asked you to test the medicine and then come as a witness. I can see that although you don't have any serious illness, you often have migraines and nasal congestion from time to time, right?" After hearing this, the other party's eyes lit up. I didn't expect that Lin Feng could immediately determine that he had these diseases through a conversation with him. He felt curious and couldn't help but said, "Boss Lin, how do you know I have these problems? Are you a doctor?" After all, Lin Feng is the boss of a pharmaceutical company. Although the medicine he sells looks like fake medicine, he can actually tell what his symptoms are from a crowd at a glance. He couldn't help but be a little surprised. Why is Lin Feng so good? But he took out the school's requirement letter and said, "No, my major is not doctor, and I'm a university student now and I don't have such high medical experience. Even if I'm a doctor. So I can see that you are sick, that's because the assistant next to me told me. He is in charge of our company's pharmaceutical business. So for patients like you, we can roughly know what's wrong with you at a glance. Because when you were talking just now, you rubbed your head several times, and your nose moved many times." After hearing this, the reporter realized that the other party was using observation, but this is also very powerful. So he said, "Yes, that's right. What does it matter?" Lin Feng replied, "Of course it matters. If you tell me your identity and some simple information now, then you can prove to the people present and the viewers online that I have no cooperative relationship with you, so you are not lying for me. If I let you try the medicine, that would be the fairest example. And you can have someone take the initiative to sign up for the event. There is a procedure. We will give you a physical examination before the test." After saying this, the reporter in front of him was still a little hesitant. After all, this is a good example. Lin Feng didn't want to give up, and he made another condition and said, "Just now I said I would find volunteers for 100,000 yuan each. Now if you are willing, I can increase it to 500,000 yuan. When the medicine you take is taken, we can do a new physical examination. At that time, we can see if you have any changes. Isn't this better?" For Lin Feng, this mere 500,000 yuan is really not worth much, but it can directly gain the reputation of his company, which is very important to him, but the reporter in front of him is a little hesitant. 500,000. If this medicine is really good, wouldn't it be able to reduce the pain in his body? And the reporter just now had stomach cancer. After hearing this, he felt that, okay, I'll try it too. If you can help me, I will promote your company's products for free in the future. After the reporter finished speaking, Lin Feng nodded and said, "Okay, the two of you go down and register with our staff, and go for a physical examination. Of course, during the physical examination, you can arrange 2 groups of filming teams to go with you, and then there will be evidence on the internet." Today's press conference is so complicated and troublesome, which is beyond Lin Feng's imagination. Originally, he just wanted to briefly introduce his product. After it is actually launched on the market, a series of matching physical examinations, as well as some rights and benefits of purchasing will be launched. As a result, it is not too difficult for him to prove it now. Anyway, he has plenty of time today, so he just does it. After 2 people signed up, some other reporters who had some minor problems began to get excited, because if what they said was true, then wouldn't they all have hope? One of them said to Lin Feng, "Mr. Lin, I thought you were participating in this volunteer. It can be seen that this person also has a disease. Otherwise, he would not be willing to accept this opportunity." So Lin Feng nodded and asked his staff to take the person away. Now all the entertainment that he had chosen at that time was deeply dispelled, and even those who had previously criticized Lin Feng on the internet were speechless. Because they didn't expect Lin Feng to be so hardcore. Originally, they all thought that Lin Feng must be a liar, and what reason was there for them to continue to scold him? Could it be that these people were in collusion with Lin Feng? But just now, several reporters scolded Lin Feng like they're online trolls, and Lin Feng didn't get angry. After explaining everything very gently, he successfully persuaded them to be volunteers for him. Some people on the internet have calmed down and praised Lin Feng. I think Lin Feng is a truly good boss. Even though he is such a good boss, there are still people criticizing him. I also think, how could someone like Lin Feng be selling fake medicine? I think he is not only good-looking and well-educated, but also young and promising. Among so many people, he chose the person who had a dispute with him. This can further prove that the medicine he sells is real. He is not an ordinary person. However, there are still many voices with doubts, but they are not as abusive as before. Anyway, the results are not out yet. This is just the first stage. Let's wait until the last stage to prove it. Anyway, I don't want to believe that it has such a great effect. Otherwise, there is no need to open a hospital. Many smart people have thought of another way to make money. Many people who are close to Lin Feng's news release have already started to go there. You know, a volunteer can get 100,000 yuan, which is still the lowest. Those Lin Fengs just had a quarrel and could get more money. They're all envious. And didn't the internet say that Lin Feng's medicine must be true? Wouldn't it be a double happiness for them to take it? So many people went there for the money. In less than half an hour, the entrance of Lin Feng's company was already blocked by people. Everyone wanted to come in and sign up to queue up as a volunteer. Chapter 1367 Everything is an illusion. Of course, Lin Feng will screen the applicants carefully. Because not everyone has the strength to become a volunteer. The first batch of medicines that Lin Feng took out had stronger medicinal properties and a deeper dosage. So if it was for people with average physique, if they took too much tonic, they would say that there was something wrong with their medicine. For Lin Feng, it would be another troublesome thing at that time, so the people he selected could not be too weak, which was directly recorded by the two groups of mobile phones that followed. At this time, more and more people trusted Lin Feng. Because Lin Feng did so perfectly in this series of actions, even if you really want to find a problem, you really can't find it. So it's hard for everyone to believe that such a young and successful businessman would really use fake medicine to deceive the public. It shouldn't be possible. It's so popular now. If it's fake, it will definitely be punished by the whole society. However, everyone still has to wait for a long time. Because the number of volunteers is not yet complete. Other volunteers also need Lin Feng's employees to find them in order to bring enough people to the company. This can only be for the volunteers selected for his own medicine. This matter has been widely spread on the internet. Everyone thinks that Lin Feng must want to use this gimmick to increase the popularity of his medicine. After all, in such a large-scale press conference, there are very few people who can do this. Basically, no one can attract so much attention from the whole country on the first day of the medicine. But there are still many people who have begun to support Lin Feng. Because Lin Feng's approach can be said to be very fair and just, and without any purpose. After doing this, Lin Feng has begun to screen those who come to sign up. Among them, he saw a very familiar figure, who was also outside the door. That person was Sister Zhou. He was a little speechless. After all, he had met Sister Zhou before, but he didn't expect that a host like him would come to join in the fun. Seeing that she looked like she wanted to squeeze in, Lin Feng said to the person next to him, "Let that woman in." After hearing this, everyone looked over. After all, Lin Feng's every move is now seen by hundreds of millions of people online and offline. So everyone looked over, and that person happened to appear in the camera. It was Sister Zhou. Sister Zhou was also stunned by what Lin Feng said. Unexpectedly, Lin Feng would point out her by name on such an occasion. He suddenly felt as if he was floating. At other times, he didn't have such an impulse to resist, but why did he feel so happy about Lin Feng's special treatment now? All the media reporters made way for him. Then Sister Zhou walked in, and he was very happy in his heart. Because in the past, there was no such opportunity. No matter whether it was a serious media, which one would really look down on their new media people. What's more, a large part of the new media workers also don't like the profession as anchors, although he is very famous in the circle. But it was only in their own circle, so in such a comparison, he felt that he was completely outstanding, so he happily walked in front of Lin Feng and said to Lin Feng, "Mr. Lin, I actually want to interview you. Because of your company's drug listing this time, we also want to interview you. I said before that I believe in you very much. But my fans and audiences, as well as the bosses of my company, all think that this is all a false impression. Can you tell me again with your most honest words? Is this the only way to prove that you really didn't deceive everyone? Now let Lin Feng prove it all." It means to let Lin Feng prove for himself that he didn't choose to believe the wrong person. So after hearing this, Lin Feng also understood what the other party meant, but only said one sentence: "If you are willing to believe me, then continue to believe it. As for those who don't believe, they will know soon. Everyone, including you. It's right to believe in my talent." After Lin Feng said this domineeringly, everyone was stunned. Some people have already started to applaud. Because some of the media people among the applicants at the scene, after they believed in Raymond Lam, they stood on the opposite side of the other media that opposed Raymond Lam. So whenever Raymond Lam did something and was not acknowledged, they would choose to applaud. However, under the gaze of so many people, after Sister Zhou spoke out her words, she also received the attention of many media reporters. Everyone seemed to be imagining what kind of relationship she had with Raymond Lam. How could he get here? You have to know that everyone here graduated from an incredible school, So in front of the serious media, he was an entertainment anchor, which seemed very unnatural. His legs were still weak now. However, after looking at him like this, Lin Feng felt it was inconvenient to say anything more. So he said, "Move him a stool." After saying this, Sister Joe was even happier. In fact, everyone at the scene had a seat, but there were too many people. Even if the people who had seats sat on the chairs, they could not be interviewed. But those people blocked the seating area, so Lin Feng specially asked someone to move a seat. Sister Joe was a little flattered and sat down, and this position was very close to the axle. This made everyone even more curious. Could it be that this guy really had a special relationship with Raymond Lam? But in such a formal occasion, it was not necessary to announce it. They were not news media, so even if they thought that Raymond Lam had some relationship with Sister Joe, they would not take the initiative to ask, and it was not very useful. Sister Joe was still in a daze. She felt that Raymond Lam was too gentle to her, completely different from the last interview. Wait, if it was completely different, then did it mean that this man was deliberately showing off his personality in front of her? Suddenly at this moment, he felt that the words of comfort that Raymond Lam had said just now were not sweet anymore. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1368. I hope you can be patient. At this time, more media did not say anything too much. All of them were waiting for the results of the experimenters. Because the result is very long, if you can't wait, you may not have a chance to see the truth. Fortunately, many people can afford to wait, such as some media reporters from large companies. They all think that seeking the truth is what they should do as news media. However, there are some media reporters who have gossip. They think that Lin Feng is just delaying time. And for the so-called traffic, they have begun to promote a lot of unrealistic propaganda, how scary Lin Feng's drug is. So after hearing what he said, Lin Feng just sneered and said to all those who are willing to believe in him, "If you are willing to give me a chance, then I can guarantee you that you will see a different pharmaceutical company, but if you choose to miss this opportunity, I think you will never see a sincere and reliable experimental method like our company again, so I hope you can be patient." Those who are really patient will naturally not say much, so those who are impatient will want to attract attention everywhere. The reason is very simple: their company is not as good as other regular media companies. Therefore, before the result comes out, they have to use their profession to bring some fun gimmicks to many uninformed viewers. If they fail to do so, they will be unemployed in their own industry. Because the company is not big, and there is no serious media company doing news, so it depends on gimmicks to get started. So if it doesn't work, it would be a mistake for them to interview Raymond Lam. As for all these people, they are all in the same industry, so it is inconvenient to say something unpleasant, and not many people will take the initiative to help Raymond Lam say that their colleagues are wrong. It's just that for all people, it is possible that Sister Joe is an exception. That's because he is different from these media. He is an anchor. The so-called anchor. Even if he does something that makes people feel incredible, there won't be too many. Professionals felt that he was wrong, so Sister Joe naturally spoke up and said to these unscrupulous media who did not believe in male virginity, "Shouldn't we wait for Lin Feng and the volunteers to check the results before we say anything else? If you are so arbitrary, you will only bring bad news to the audience. As a real media practitioner, you are unprofessional." After hearing Sister Joe's criticism, some reporters who were against Lin Feng's company were very angry and said to him, "What do you know? You are just an entertainment anchor, just take care of your own business. As real media workers, only we ourselves know what kind of interview is what the audience really wants to see, and you, people like you are not qualified to show off in front of me." After seeing what this person said, Sister Joe was also a little unhappy. Because he felt that the other party was purely suppressing himself with his professional identity. If he was an entertainment anchor on the internet, he would not care at all and would not hesitate to criticize him. But it's not possible now. His purpose now is to increase the number of media willing to believe in Lin Feng, not to scold him, so he snorted and said, "Actually, how difficult is it to prove this point? I am Lin Feng's friend, I can also help him do this experiment. If you don't believe it, why not let me go too?" After hearing this, Lin Feng looked at him in surprise, and then said, "Don't you know that you are my friend? Isn't this something you can try just because you want to? To be honest, Lin Feng was a little speechless. He had said before that only after going through their company's testing can they decide whether their physical condition is suitable for testing this medicine, but Sister Joe really spoke without thinking to help herself. If he said that he wanted to test it himself, it would not cause trouble for Lin Feng, so Lin Feng's eyes were a little disapproving. When he looked at him, he felt a little wronged. People do this to help you, how can you say that? Sister Joe felt that her kindness was not rewarded, so when her eyes fell into the live broadcast room, many people started to tease her. You didn't expect that our anchor would be criticized so badly, ha ha ha. Who told him to say such brainless words? It's me, I know, how could someone like Lin Feng just find a test subject casually? But to be honest, it was indeed partly because of him, and it couldn't be blamed on Lin Feng. It's just that he was still a little unhappy in his heart, thinking that Lin Feng did not treat him as a friend and also failed his kindness. But Lin Feng didn't explain why he was allowed to come in for the interview. It was completely because he saw that it was the anniversary of his relationship with Zhang Yuxi, and the two met this guy when they went to the anniversary date. So when they met again today, he gave him face, and there was no other reason. Sister Joe was a little angry that Lin Feng didn't choose her as an experimenter, but the matter was left unresolved. This news not only fermented on the entire internet, but also transmitted to another place. On the other side, someone was sitting in a car. The car was heading towards Jiang Cheng's checkpoint. As long as he left the checkpoint, he would be free. Because this person was exactly Zhang Yuxi, who was going to flee the entire country. As long as he left this place and came back in a few years, he could completely avenge everything he had experienced today, but he was watching the live broadcast on his phone. He saw his old enemy, Lin Feng, who had actually held a press conference to introduce his product, and at the same time this product attracted a lot of attention. Whether it was true or not, at least he had succeeded halfway. This was the strength of a businessman. He angrily hit the leather chair with his hand and said, "Damn it, he actually hit me again, it's really abominable." Although the driver next to him didn't know what he was surprised about, he could see that he was in a more important mood, and he didn't dare to say much. He could only continue driving the car, driving it continuously on the highway, and moving towards the checkpoint. Looking at the scene outside, he still felt a little sad, because he was about to leave this place and couldn't come back for several years. Chapter 1369, Weighing the Pros and Cons. The driver next to him said to him, "Sir, we will get on the plane as soon as possible after we arrive at the airport. Now I have arranged a safe passage for you." The driver was very careful, so after he did all this, Zhang Yuxi just nodded. After all, this matter. After the people he arranged to do it, they will all be dismissed. It is useless to give them anything. The original driver can go abroad with him if he wants. He has other industries abroad. At most, he can move all the industries in China abroad. When the driver drove the car to the airport, he shook his head and said to him, "Mr. Zhang, if you really let me go abroad, my family can't accept it, so I'm sorry I can't agree to your condition." After hearing what he said, Zhang Yuxi shook his head speechlessly, but what he said was just going abroad, is it really that difficult? Forget it, since you don't want to, then I won't force you. Of course, it is not impossible for Zhang Yuxi to leave in such a hurry. But this process might be a little difficult. After the driver in front of him finished speaking to him, he made a phone call. Because it was the morning rush hour on this highway, it would still take some time to get through safely. During this time, the driver called the other party and happened to call Lin Feng. Lin Feng had already asked the driver to pretend to be the person who sent Zhang Yuxi away. Now after reporting the itinerary, he completed his task, but he didn't expect that the other party didn't answer the phone. No one responded to him when he called. He was a little anxious. It shouldn't be like this. If he didn't answer the phone, wouldn't this trip be in vain? Seeing that the traffic lights ahead had already passed. His driver hadn't continued driving yet, Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but remind him, "What are you thinking about? It's time to set off now, drive quickly, otherwise if I miss this flight, who will be responsible?" After saying this, the driver finally reacted, and he nodded hurriedly and said, Yes, Mr. Zhang, wait a minute, I'll drive over right away." After saying this, his eyes revealed a hint of anxiety. Although he didn't understand why he was so anxious, it made Zhang Yuxi a little suspicious. After half an hour, basically, they were already near the airport, and at this time Zhang Yuxi said to the driver, I'll call someone. For some reason, he always felt that there seemed to be a little bit of a weird feeling here, so that he now wanted to prepare in advance, not just to pick up the people who left. And he also wanted to cancel the entire flight. That's right, it was cancelled. Anyway, I know that there has always been a little unrest in recent times. Whether it was because Lin Feng was his biggest enemy or because of his former business partners, he had thought about saying hello to them when he left. But those people seemed determined not to have any contact with him, so at this moment, he couldn't be blamed for doubting the driver in front of him. After all, even his most loyal housekeeper had betrayed him before. Who else in the world could not betray him? So when he was on the phone, he accidentally looked up at the driver in the rearview mirror. The other party's face was a little anxious, which made him even more uneasy, because no matter what, this driver had nothing to do with him. Why was he so anxious? So after thinking about it, he looked at the other party coldly, and then he dialed his phone to another bodyguard, and then he said to the bodyguard over there, "Please help me do something now, it's very important, cancel my flight immediately." No. Wait. The flight cannot be cancelled. If it is cancelled, those people will know it. Please help me contact and buy a helicopter. I want to fly directly to another continent. After saying this, the bodyguard on the other side of his phone didn't know what he wanted to do, but he obeyed his boss's order. So he said, "Don't worry, boss, I will definitely get this done." After saying this, the other party hung up the phone. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was finally able to feel relieved because he had already called. It's just that Zhang Yuxi's voice just now was very low, and he looked out the window to say it, so he didn't hear what he said at all. At this time, the driver couldn't call Lin Feng, so he was very hesitant and deliberately drove very slowly. Lin Feng, who was in a meeting, also remembered something. It was the news he got this morning that Zhang Yuxi was about to leave the country. If he went abroad, it would definitely be more difficult to deal with. In such a news research and development meeting, he would not miss this opportunity to find the other party, but if he weighed the pros and cons, he still felt that Zhang Yuxi's matter was more important. So, he said to the assistant next to him, "Tell all the media personnel first that I am going out for a few minutes and will be back in a while. You guys stay at the scene first, okay?" The assistant was still a little skeptical about his request. Because now this time is very critical. If he goes out, it will be easy to leave a handle. Whether it is true or false, the news media will say that Lin Feng left because he was guilty. But Lin Feng was too lazy to explain so much. He stood up. All the flashes were focused on his face. Lin Feng said calmly, "I have to go out to do something personal now. As for the volunteers, after their physical examination results come out, the doctors in our company will tailor them. If they can try the medicine, they can stay. If they can't take the medicine, they can get 5,000 yuan and then leave. After all, this is 5,000 yuan, which is still very tempting." So after he said this, those who came to participate in the drug trial were also very willing. They only needed to get 5,000 yuan in advance. At least there was nothing wrong with this. Everyone came happily. After Lin Feng walked out, many media wanted to follow him, but they were stopped by the bodyguards and staff behind Lin Feng, and said to everyone, "Our President Lin has his own private space now, and you are not qualified to disturb him." Seeing these people's strong side, some media were very uncomfortable with Lin Feng. So, at this time, he started to make trouble again. If this is the case, then does it mean that President Lin is not very sure about the drug testing process this time, so he made such a move? After saying this, the staff member was a little unhappy, and then said to this person, "What you said is not right. If our President Lin is really not sure, then he would not have said so many harsh words. You should know that no one in the same industry dares to say that. I think as a media person, you should be responsible for what you say instead of saying whatever you want." Even the assistant saw that another group of media personnel were targeting Lin Feng specifically. Chapter 1370. The host is too tough. These selfish media were just about to debate with Lin Feng's assistant. Suddenly, another voice came from behind them. It was a woman's voice. The voice said, "Because this is meaningless. If you media keep stirring up public opinion here, then who knows that by then, the atmosphere of our company will be reversed by your words, and then what you say will be the final word. Are they going to find your company and fire you? People like you shouldn't be able to compensate this company much money, so I advise you to be careful when you speak. Who dared to talk to these official media like this?" It's so shameless. When the reporter turned around, he saw that some of the people who spoke were Sister Joe. After seeing this female anchor, everyone's eyes were not happy. One of them said to him, "I say, miss, if you want to be your anchor, then you should do it well and don't cause us any more trouble, okay? We don't want to see your real existence, because it is an insult to a serious media." These media really spoke without any restraint. Because they felt that if it weren't for Sister Joe's existence, they wouldn't be so embarrassed now. These words were also their revenge on Sister Joe. After hearing this, Sister Joe smiled coldly and said indifferently, "Really? You have already said so, what else can I say? But don't forget one thing, that is, the whole network is watching what you official media say now. Even if you are not responsible for yourselves, you must be responsible for the entire media industry. What do you want netizens to think? After all, you graduated from a prestigious university before working in the media, but what you said was so speechless, it's really drunk." People who saw this anchor on the internet were very amazed that Sister Joe had such a strong courage to challenge these official media. Incredible. Incredible. Our anchor is so tough, I didn't expect that he is not only an entertainment anchor, but also a professional tough anchor. You just found out, you are a new fan, let me tell you, our Sister Joe is not afraid of anyone, especially those who go against her will not have a good ending, and our anchor is not speaking for Lin Feng for the sake of profit, it is entirely because of the friendship between the two of them. What? The two of them are actually friends? No way, no way, is it the kind of relationship I imagined? After all, one is a business tycoon and the other is a beautiful little anchor. What are you thinking? Lin Feng has a girlfriend, and with his status and position, how could he let the person he likes feel about this industry? Now, it's normal that you don't know, because there was a very popular interview before, that is, our anchor met Lin Feng, and it was a coincidence. However, after hearing these words said by Danbo, some viewers expressed great disdain. You've been deceived, right? Aren't these anchors doing it on purpose? It's all scripted. Don't think too much. I guess this anchor is so popular because she's with a rich man like Lin Feng. If the makeup is done by other anchors, then they won't be qualified. It can be said that the atmosphere of the entire internet is all kinds of strange. Some people think that the anchor industry is originally affected by a gray environment and is a product of research and development. But some people think that there is nothing wrong with anchors. In short, there are more people on the internet who are just watching the show. After all, everyone is not a fool. You can't be biased towards one side just because of what one side says. As for those real fools, of course they are on the side of those who are in dire straits. They either stand on the side of the official media or on the side of Sister Joe. In short, no one looks at this matter subjectively. Of course. Lin Feng, who went out, didn't know what happened. After he went out, he immediately called his driver. The driver happened to be the one he sent to take Zhang Yuxi away. After the call was connected, the other party hurriedly said, "Boss, I found a very important piece of information, that is, the Zhang Yuxi we sent is going abroad directly." But he just called his people again, and it seems that he suddenly changed his decision. I'm not sure if you want to come and take a look. After hearing this, Lin Feng hesitated. After all, he still had hope that he would not be defeated by Zhang Yuxi. If he spent more time, it would obviously be uneconomical. So, he shook his head and said to the other party, "Forget it, just handle it yourself. Didn't I tell you how to handle it before? So you should still remember it now." His question made the driver nod, but he was still hesitant. Because this was the first time he did this kind of thing, it was more difficult, but it was still a little nervous for him. Lin Feng comforted him and said, "It doesn't matter, even if you miss this opportunity, we still have the next chance, but we will try our best if we can." Lin Feng already regretted sending such a not very familiar driver to try his hand. For him, this was definitely a role-playing mistake. But there was no other way, the people had already been sent there. He could only see if the other party was unlucky. If he was unlucky, he would fall into his hands. If he was not unlucky, he would probably escape. But even if Zhang Yuxi wanted to escape, if he didn't reach where he wanted to go, he would be caught back. After the driver hung up the phone. At this time, Zhang Yuxi, who was sitting behind him, said to him with a smile, "Who are you calling?" After hearing this, the driver was a little embarrassed, and said, "Yes, it's like this, Mr. Zhang, I'm calling my family, and they asked me some specific things about our family." After hearing that, Zhang Yuxi laughed, and said, "How could it be? Aren't the people in your family well taken care of by my people? They are in a very safe place. How can they have time to call you? After hearing this, the other party turned his head slowly in disbelief, looking at him with trembling eyes, as if he couldn't believe what he said was true. Chapter 1371, Plan Goes Wrong. How is it possible? Exclamation mark. How is it possible? Exclamation mark. His family was still at home this morning. How could they be taken away by this guy in the blink of an eye? He was a little surprised, but he didn't dare to say it. At this time, the other party showed a bit of a terrifying smile and said to him, "You guy, do you really think I don't know that you secretly did something shameful behind my back? But I don't care about you, just because I have a good temper, but you have betrayed me again and again. What do you think will happen behind your back?" After saying this, the driver was still a little trembling. But he didn't dare to directly question Zhang Yuxi in front of him. Because he didn't believe that the other party did everything he said just now. How could he let his parents and his brother and his family stay in the house he bought? In the past few years, although he had a good income, his family also spent a lot of money, so he still had to borrow money everywhere. If it was because of this matter and his boss knew about it, if that's why his parents were arrested, it would be really unlucky. Sure enough, after he guessed all this, Zhang Yuxi in front of him said what he had guessed, and then said, "I guess you have already guessed it. How did I capture your parents and other family members? If you don't believe me, I have a photo here." After saying this, he turned his phone to the front. When he clicked on the page where someone sent him a text message, he saw a dark little room with several people lying on the sofa. Their mouths were stuffed with rags. After seeing this, the driver began to sweat coldly. He said to Zhang Yuxi in front of him with some fear, "No. No, please, let me go. My family members are all innocent. If you want me to take you to the airport, I will take you there now." After hearing this, Zhang Yuxi kicked him directly and said viciously, "Do you think I am a fool? If you go to the airport now, you will be caught. Do you really think I didn't see who you were calling just now?" After seeing such a scene, the driver still didn't want to admit it. However, Zhang Yuxi didn't care so much and said directly, "If I guessed correctly, you should have called Lin Feng. This guy is really haunting. Not only the patients he arranged, but also the driver of the car next to me was arranged by him. If all this is his people, then I shouldn't have trusted you from the beginning, idiot." After saying this, he was actually very upset. Even if Lu Qingqing told him how to leave, so what? Isn't he being caught up by Lin Feng's people now? That's right. Exclamation mark. How could he forget that there was a person named Lu Qingqing? If he could contact Lu Qingqing, maybe he could get her to give him some advice. So, he squinted his eyes and said to the driver, "Drive to a nearby gas station now. You are not allowed to stop unless I tell you to. Do you hear me?" Because his parents and family were in his hands, the driver had no choice but to continue driving for Zhang Yuxi with a bitter face. At this time, Zhang Yuxi turned on his mobile phone and called Lu Qingqing. Lu Qingqing, who was at home, looked around after receiving Zhang Yuxi's call to make sure that no one was watching her. Then she picked up the phone and said to the person on the phone, "Didn't I tell you? Just go abroad directly. Why are you calling me now? Have you changed your mind?" Because in Lu Qingqing's view, he felt that if Zhang Yuxi called him, it meant that nothing good would happen. Sure enough, after hearing his complaints, the other party said with a grim expression, "It's because there are loopholes in the plan you gave me. My driver is also Lin Feng's man. How can you let me escape? He has just called Lin Feng. If I want to go abroad at this time, I can only rely on you." After hearing this, Lu Qingqing covered her forehead in despair. No way? It's time to show up. This kind of guy? He thought so, but he didn't say such words. "Okay, tell me the address. I'll come to you now." In any case, he felt that he still had the ability to help the other party escape. Otherwise, she, the eldest lady of the Lu family, would be in vain. But he didn't know that there was a listening device behind his wall, and the housekeeper was wearing headphones at this time. Everything in his phone was heard clearly, and it was recorded by the way. How they were going to meet, how to leave the border, and then go abroad, all these details were recorded. After Lu Qingqing hung up the phone, the housekeeper took the evidence he had prepared and went to tell the old man. After entering the room, he saw the old man playing chess with his hands. He walked up to him, handed the evidence to him, and said, "Old man, this is the conversation between our eldest lady and Zhang Yuxi. I have recorded it all. They are leaving together. With a snap, the old man directly destroyed the chess game in his hand. He looked very angry, staring at the housekeeper in front of him, and then said, "Are you serious? You actually said that the eldest lady was going to leave with him." Seeing that the old man was almost fainted by his anger, the disciplinarian waved his hands and said, "No, no, old man, you misunderstood. What I mean is that our eldest lady wanted to help Zhang Yuxi leave, but the eldest lady didn't say she was leaving." After hearing this, Mr. Lu breathed a sigh of relief, and then looked at the housekeeper speechlessly and said, "Next time you speak, can you speak more clearly?" The housekeeper nodded and said with an apologetic look on his face, "Yes, yes, old man, I know I was wrong." "Then what should we do now? Are we going to let the eldest lady continue to conspire with this guy Zhang Yuxi?" Chapter 1372 Time Bomb. This time, Mr. Lu was also very angry. He said to the housekeeper next to him, "You don't need to care what the young lady thinks now. You just need to know that if we make Mr. Lin unhappy, we will be the ones who suffer in the end. So the more he wants this, the more we can't let Zhang Yuxi escape from the magic city. You should take people to intercept them now." After hearing this, the housekeeper nodded fiercely. In fact, he didn't like the eldest lady of the Lu family very much. She was too ridiculous. If she was thinking about it, it would be fine, but this kind of thing was related to the fight between the families. Would this make the Lu family in a very bad situation? So after thinking about it, the housekeeper decided to give his eldest lady a strong medicine. If he didn't take advantage of this opportunity to let Xiaohu understand what he was doing, maybe he would always think that no matter how big a mistake he made, his grandfather would cover it for him. So it was equivalent to increasing the workload of the housekeeper in disguise. After the butler went out, he took his suit and put it on, looking domineering and majestic. With a wave of his hand, the younger brothers beside him followed him into the car. In the car, the butler said to everyone, "When we find the eldest lady later, there is no need to say any nonsense, just knock that guy down and bring the eldest lady back. There is no need to listen to any excuses from the eldest lady on the way, you can't believe what she says." Everyone can feel the anger in the butler's tone. The butler, who has been used to Lu Qingqing getting into trouble since childhood, was completely angered today. This is different from the assistant of Mr. Lu before. Although that assistant was willing to think about everything on Lu Qingqing's side. As long as he brought the person back, he would complete the task. That's because he doesn't have to interfere in other matters in the family. If he is asked to take care of a few more things, his head will probably explode. So no one can understand the unhappiness of the butler at the moment. Others dare not offend the butler. Even though they knew that there were many people in the Lu family who were more powerful than the housekeeper, they also understood how important the first housekeeper was in the eyes of Mr. Lu. It was equivalent to not living. As the car continued to move forward, they saw that there was basically no traffic jam on this road, so it was the best time to intercept Zhang Yuxi, who was about to escape from the magic city. And the housekeeper's time to act was even faster than their eldest daughter. Because when Zhang Yuxi called Lu Qingqing for help, Lu Qingqing had not decided whether to help or not, but just in case, the old man had already sent his housekeeper out, so if he went up now, it would be a complete act of sending his head. After Lu Qingqing went downstairs from her room, she came to the front hall. Lu Qingqing did not see her grandfather, and she was relieved. She was very afraid that the old man would suddenly appear in front of her. If that was the case, he would have to find an excuse to get away. But he didn't know that because he was leaving home, his grandfather had arranged everything in advance. When he didn't even need to lie, he took the initiative to make way for him to meet Zhang Yuxi. After arriving at the garage, he found that many cars were locked. Or they had been driven out. After hesitating for a while, he finally decided to ride a motorcycle. With a whir, he flew out directly. The feeling of flying in the air was very refreshing. It had been a long time since he had driven a motorcycle. He had forgotten that he had such a refreshing side. Just when he left the Lu family. On the second floor rooftop, Mr. Lu came over with one of his assistants, and the faces of both of them were not very good. The assistant said to the old man in a comforting way, "Don't worry, as long as our housekeeper takes action, there is basically nothing that cannot be changed. Even if it's the eldest lady, she will be obedient and be caught by you in a while." Old Master Lu shook his head, looking a little desperate. "When do you think this guy will end? When will I catch him? He will really understand." He will cause trouble to the entire Liu family because of his series of actions. For old Master Liu, his precious granddaughter used to be his sweet little cotton-padded jacket. But for him now, it is simply a time bomb, and he doesn't know when it will bring disaster to himself. After hearing this, the assistant also shook his head. Because he didn't know how to answer the other party's question, he could only remain silent. On the other side, Lin Feng's press conference was proceeding in an orderly manner. He just hung up the phone, and after explaining some things about how to deal with Zhang Yuxi, he returned to his conference room, which was the live broadcast room for the interview. After seeing a group of people looking at him in different ways, he said to someone with some confusion, "What's going on? Why do these people have a new understanding of him after he appeared for less than a while? Otherwise, how could their eyes change?" But when he walked into his seat, he found that the assistant next to him seemed to be hesitant to speak. But his eyes looked very happy, as if he had encountered something good. Lin Feng looked at the assistant with some curiosity in his heart, and then waved at him, asking him to come over and tell him personally what happened. After the assistant came over, he said to him, "It's like this, Mr. Lin, your friend just told us that these reporters who are most compatible with us have been arranged for a lot of time, and there are no other things." Because in the nearly 10 minutes that Lin Feng was away just now, no matter what questions any reporter asked, they were all answered by his staff. They didn't have such good eloquence and adaptability, so they still lacked a lot in considering this aspect of things. If it weren't for the internet anchor Sister Joe who often liked to quarrel with others, then Lin Feng would at least have to clean up a lot of messes when he came back now, so when he heard what the assistant said, he looked at Sister Joe again. As a result, he met her very proud eyes. Chapter 1373 A blind cat meets a dead mouse. All the news media staff present. They all looked at the entertainment anchor in front of them with great admiration. In the past, these serious news media reporters looked down on this kind of anchor who attracted people with various gimmicks and unique ways on the internet, but today everyone was shocked. It was because of everything that Sister Joe did that everyone was shocked. He not only attracted all the firepower of the potion made by Lin Feng, he also provided many solutions. If he was not a staff member in the anchor industry, then it is very likely that everyone would think that he was a worker invited by Lin Feng. It is precisely because of this that these professionals have a deeper understanding of Sister Joe, and with a kind of jealousy, many people on the internet are fans of Sister Joe. After seeing this scene, they are almost laughing crazy. Ha ha ha, this really made me laugh to death. I didn't expect that our Sister Joe would have a chance to turn over. I remember he said before that what he hoped most was to join the news media industry. Now he finally got his wish, but he doesn't look very happy. You are too mean. Aren't you making fun of him? If he really likes this industry so much, he would have changed it long ago. After all, our anchor is not suitable for dealing with these people. Did we see it today? If she really hangs out with such a group of people, then every day she will either exclude others or others will exclude her. Either way, it will be enough. I say, how can you not hope that the anchor will get better? No matter what, his performance today was excellent. Even as a viewer, I can't help but applaud him. That's right, those people who just said that they are professionals should stand up. Why don't they show up now? Wasn't it difficult to say just now? They also said that our Sister Joe is not as good as these professional journalists and media. I've also seen these so-called formal media, and they're not that good. They're not as good as amateur anchors like us. If there were one or two people present who were speechless and unable to speak, it could only be said that the other party was just lucky. But it's different now. Many media present couldn't pull over the aggressive Sister Joe just now, so under such circumstances, if there are still people who think that Sister Joe has no real ability, then it is very likely that they will be verbally attacked by everyone. Sure enough, those online trolls who criticized Lin Feng or Sister Joe just now didn't dare to show up again, and the right to speak was also one-sided. Sister Joe also felt very proud at the time. After all, being able to face so many people, scolding these self-proclaimed professionals, and being able to give Xiaohu a chance, no matter how you look at it, it is a very meaningful thing for herself. After he did all this, what he was most looking forward to was Lin Feng's opinion of him. Because he thinks how well I have done for myself, other people always look at him with some tinted glasses. But Lin Feng is different. He and Lin Feng are very familiar with each other. If Lin Feng agrees with him, it would be great. If Lin Feng is unwilling to agree with him, he has nothing to say. But what makes her feel lucky is that the look Lin Feng gave her was indeed full of praise, as if he thought that what he had just done was very beautiful. So, he finally showed a trace of joyful smile. At this moment, after seeing Lin Feng coming back, the media rushed up again, and all of them basically occupied all the seats here. Before, when Lin Feng's company was arranging the environment here, it actually left a lot of empty seats. But now, it seems that these seats are almost full. Because many other news media came from outside, even some very large media companies sent people. Because just half an hour of interview just now, basically the entire media industry has received a little bit of opportunity. This is a very big business opportunity for them. If you can grasp it well, you can make a small profit. Not to mention Lin Feng's current level of activity, even if they go to interview a big earth-shattering news, it's just like this. So even the most popular scenes were filmed. The reporter knew and accepted all of this. As long as he lived longer, he would have more opportunities to be exposed. Anyway, he didn't have any worries about the effect of the drug. These experimenters were not joking. They tested these drugs with their own bodies. At that time, they could only make the audience who watched the live broadcast and the news believe more in the longevity drug promoted by Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company. As soon as they saw Lin Feng coming back, all the reporters surrounded Lin Feng and started to chatter about some questions that annoyed Lin Feng. But this time, Lin Feng had a way to deal with it. He said to everyone, "You have asked enough questions just now, and I think the lady next to me explained it very clearly to you. What is the use of this drug recommended by our pharmaceutical company and how to ensure that it is safe and effective to take? It has been explained very clearly. You keep asking these questions and causing some conflicts. I don't think there is any need to answer you again. Otherwise, it will become an insult to me." After saying this, basically many people were unhappy. Because they all felt that Lin Feng had no respect for them. But Lin Feng himself realized that if these people really wanted to respect, they should not ask them questions that made them feel difficult to answer. After Sister Zhou received a little praise from Lin Feng, her heart began to float. Because he felt that his efforts were not in vain. He was also scared and sweating just now. After all, these companies may be big companies. And not like the company he is in now. Although his rank was high, there was still a gap between him and those regular media companies. The only thing he could be clear about was himself. Even if he annoyed these people, he could still have Lin Feng to back him up. Otherwise, if these media united and retaliated against him, it would be terrible. Horizontal ellipsis. Chapter 1374 Live Broadcast. After listening to Lin Feng's words, many media companies probably understood. Sister Zhou really had some shameful relationship with Lin Feng. So everyone also shifted their attention to Sister Zhou. When everyone thought that Sister Zhou and Lin Feng had a good relationship, two people in the crowd were talking quietly. One of them said, "You should have seen the current situation. We can't stop it. The only way to put their Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company in danger is no longer to spread rumors. Whether it is the attention in reality or the audience on the internet, they are not fools. They can see at a glance that we are deliberately saying these disturbing words. The only way is probably to think of other ideas." After saying this, another person next to him also nodded and said indignantly, "I didn't expect it. Lin Feng can actually deal with so many media. If you can't control it with a fishing reel, then think about what to do." They are sent by other companies to use their professional strength to discredit Lin Feng's drug. Therefore, the interview between the two of them just now can be said to be very sharp. They almost pointed at Lin Feng and started to scold him. But now, no matter what the situation is, Lin Feng can calm him down. This can only be said that Lin Feng himself has such ability. Others can't help him. The other person was not in a hurry, so he said to him, "It doesn't matter, have you forgotten something?" Although Lin Feng has asked so many people to test his medicine, didn't he also say it? If the result of the test is not good, then his medicine may really not be sold. It is estimated that it will not be sold, and he will be criticized by everyone, and his company will not be able to operate. Now both of them understood what the other party meant. It's very simple, that is, to make those people found by Lin Feng really sick. No matter what means are used, as long as they feel uncomfortable, then they will win. So they also showed a touch of surprise in their eyes. One of them said, "This is very simple, I will notify the people above now and let them take action against those experimenters." In their eyes, the group of volunteers recruited by Lin Feng just now are the experimenters of Lin Feng's business. although they all knew that Lin Feng's medicine would not cause physical harm to people. Otherwise, Lin Feng was doing something wrong. But they wanted to make Lin Feng's medicine become the one that really harmed the bodies of ordinary people. Only in this way could they succeed. One person went out to make a phone call, and the other stayed to continue to control the whole scene. In short, no matter what, there were fewer voices at the scene. Many people said that they were accusing Lin Feng, and basically everyone understood. Lin Feng is now controlling the bad news at the scene, and it has become more and more handy. Therefore, Lin Feng Jiao did not notice that there were other people at the scene with other thoughts. He said to everyone, "It is estimated that the physical examination of those volunteers has been completed. You can look at the big screen." After Lin Feng turned on the remote control, he let the screen behind him play the physical examination of all the volunteers who were summoned. Including all the processes in the examination room, part of it was revealed. Looking at the physical examination reports one by one, only 3 people failed, and the remaining dozen people were qualified. Lin Feng asked them to take their own medicine and then make the experimental report. This guy has attracted the attention of many wealthy people who want to buy medicine. Because those who can really afford it don't care about the small amount of money. They care about Lin Feng's medicine. Can it really prolong people's life? Only then did they have a precise introduction. The staff in the laboratory next to him took out a box of medicine and said to the camera, "This is a medicine with a relatively high concentration. We only plan to match it with qualified test subjects. As for the unqualified ones, even if there will be problems with the body when matching, the higher the concentration, the better the proportion. Then the effect will be better after taking it. There are 2 people on our site who can meet the physical requirements, so we will give them this medicine now, but we need to observe them for 3 hours before we can see their true situation." After saying this, the doctor in the laboratory gave the volunteer the medicine and asked him to rest on the side. But after taking it, the volunteer was immediately happy and said to the people in the laboratory in front of him, "I feel it. I feel that there is a force in my body, and it is constantly growing bigger. Great, I think my cancer can be cured." After hearing this, a large number of people thought that Lin Feng was really doing an experiment, but this was too fake. The medicine he just took was effective, and this was a medicine for prolonging life, just like the healthcare products they took, which only work over time. If it is really so magical that it works after taking 1 pill, then it is not impossible that the price would be over $1 million. So the people who had just dispelled their doubts about Lin Feng's company began to become suspicious. "I think I was deceived. How could this really happen? Isn't this treating people as fools?" "I think so too, and the actor they invited is really too careless. It should at least wait 3 hours before saying that there are changes in their bodies. If they say it now, it will completely bring bad luck to their company." Everyone laughed. They made no secret of their contempt for the experimenter who had taken the drug. Because this person was the reporter who just said that he had cancer and would die soon, so it was very likely that he did it for a sum of money. And then he acted as a sting for Lin Feng in front of so many people. However, after Lin Feng heard it, there was no displeasure on his face. Because after these people had said so much about his suspicions, he had already gotten used to it. So he laughed and said, "Don't worry, everyone should also know this drug. I said there will be no side effects, so it must be like this. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it. After 3 hours, when the physical examination report comes out, you will know, and our physical examination process is broadcast live." Chapter 1375 Let bygones be bygones. After hearing what Lin Feng said, everyone shook their heads. After all, there was no other way except to wait. It was almost noon. If they left now, then if they wanted to come in the afternoon, there would definitely be a huge crowd blocking the door. Even now, a large number of people were waiting at the door because they couldn't get in. If they wanted to leave, then the group of people outside would take the opportunity to come in. There were many reporters, and they would directly sacrifice the entire interview even for meals. Because once they left, it was very likely that their seats would be occupied. It was noontime. The assistant next to him said to Lin Feng, "Mr. Lin, please come with me to the back to eat. It's probably ready now." After all, it was his own company, so it was quite convenient to eat, so he nodded. But before he left, he looked back at Sister Zhou, and then said to him kindly, "Do you want to go to eat with me?" Seeing that the other party said so many good things to him, Lin Feng was willing to be the good guy. But after hearing what he said, not only did he take a deep breath, But the others beside him were also very shocked. I didn't expect that a big boss like Lin Feng would be willing to care about the meal of an internet celebrity anchor. At this moment, some reporters couldn't help but point the cameras in their hands at the two people, and started to take pictures. Lin Feng's face was almost written with a question mark. What's going on? Why did they take pictures of himself and Sister Joe like this? But Sister Joe was very happy. He stood up immediately, as if he was afraid that Lin Feng would regret it. He said to Lin Feng happily, "Okay, since you want to go to eat, let's go." Now, Lin Feng looked at the other party putting his hand on his arm, and then took him away. He finally understood why these reporters did this just now. It was all because of the way Sister Joe behaved, which was very easy to be misunderstood. Lin Feng couldn't help but throw his hand away from his arm. She said to him, "Enough, don't do this anymore. Otherwise, they will misunderstand. Don't forget that I have a girlfriend." After Lin Feng finished saying this, he saw that the smile on Sister Joe's face froze. It was all because he was too excited just now. Because among so many people present, Lin Feng was just doing his job, but he only had a little more favor towards himself. That's why he felt that he was more or less a special person in Lin Feng's eyes. However, now it seems that he was really being sentimental. However, this was enough to make many people take pictures quickly. After all, this was not a trivial matter. It could be regarded as an episode and then posted on the internet. Lin Feng was unlucky. He covered his head with his hands and couldn't help but walk inside. He hoped that this scene was not seen by his girlfriend, Zhang Yuxi. Otherwise, it would be a big bad luck. But this scene was really seen by Zhang Yuxi, who was watching the live broadcast on the internet. Zhang Yuxi was a little unhappy, and put her phone on the table. She said to the classmate next to her, "Look, he dared to interact with other girls so much outside. I am so angry." Lin Feng's performance made him very angry. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's angry look, her hands on her waist, and her face puffed up like two buns, she was cute. The friend next to him laughed. He said to him comfortingly, "What's the big deal? I have seen how he treats you well, so why do you care about such a little bit of badness? What's more, didn't he react just now? Doesn't his reaction make you feel at ease?" Because the friend and Zhang Yuxi saw it clearly just now. Although Sister Joe excitedly held Lin Feng's hand, Lin Feng immediately let go of him and warned him, but the words were not clear. However, it can be seen clearly that Lin Feng refused the other party to get so close to him, but Lin Feng's performance still made Zhang Yuxi dissatisfied. Zhang Yuxi said viciously, "See how I deal with him when he comes back." After saying that, the other party covered his lips and laughed, then shook his head and said, "You are so funny, you can get angry. If this is my boyfriend, I will definitely be very happy. But in Lin Feng's heart, there's only you in this life, you can be happy secretly." After saying this, the two laughed again. Zhang Yuxi was not as angry as before. But it can still be seen. He is still a little unhappy about what happened just now. What he thought in his heart was that when Lin Feng came back, he must warn the other party that he can't get so close to other women in the future. Even if it is a live broadcaster. Especially when so many offline and online people are watching, doesn't this make him unhappy? Of course, Lin Feng must have thought of such a result himself. Otherwise, he would not have thrown away Sister Joe's hand so quickly. When he walked to the front to eat, he said to the assistant next to him, "Bring him another meal. But ask him if there is anything he can't eat." After hearing what Lin Feng said, Sister Joe was still very moved. Just now, she had offended Lin Feng, but the other party was able to put aside the past and ask her if she had any taboos. He was really moved in his heart, but he still shook his head and said, "I'm not that troublesome, I'll eat whatever you eat. I don't have anything allergic to." After hearing this, Lin Feng nodded, and then asked the assistant to bring a lunch as well. When the two lunches were brought up, seeing such a rich dish, Sister Joe couldn't help swallowing her saliva. Even though he was a very popular online celebrity anchor, he didn't often get to eat such a rich meal, so he was very grateful to Lin Feng for letting him stay here for dinner. Seeing his excited expression, Lin Feng couldn't help but explain, "I entertained you because you said something good for me just now, in front of so many reporters, regardless of whether you really helped me or not. But the fact that you can stand up means that you recognize me, of course, as long as you are sincere." But Sister Joe didn't care so much. He remembered that when he first met Lin Feng 2 days ago, he still looked like he didn't want to pay attention to him. But now he still looks so arrogant, And only when he is in front of his girlfriend will he show such a gentle and considerate look. He is really a good man. He can only envy him. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.